Sports, FM 102.5 and AM 1480 KQAM. Wichita proud. It's time for the latest news from the KQAM News Center. Brought to you by The Laundry Station, Kansas's premier laundry services provider in the Wichita area. Centrally located on Oliver and Kellogg. The Laundry Station.
I'm Stephanie Austin. A 55-year-old man was fatally shot outside his North Wichita home. Wichita police say the shooting happened around 10 p.m. Friday in the Benjamin Hills neighborhood near 25th and Amadon. The man was shot and killed in his driveway, and the victim had been robbed. Friends have identified the victim as 55-year-old Chuck Giles, owner of Neighbors Restaurant. Police do not believe this to be a random incident and ask anyone with information to call police. Advanced voting began today in Sedgwick County. Voters can cast their votes for local election primaries, which include the race for a new mayor and an open spot on the Wichita School District School Board. Voters in Sedgwick County can vote at the main election office downtown from 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, and again next week. You will need your ID. The election will take place on August 6th, and then the top two candidates will move on to the general election on November 5th. At the sports desk, here's Doug Downs.
NFL training camp starts for all NFL teams this weekend. There were 4 teams that started last week. The rest of the league gets underway, including the Kansas City Chiefs starting tomorrow. Tyreek Hill will be a part of the Chiefs when training camp starts on Friday. The league did release a statement saying that Tyreek Hill did not violate the personal conduct policy of the NFL, therefore will be allowed to rejoin the Chiefs without any suspensions for the season. Golf wrapped up its majors yesterday as Shane Lowry from Ireland posted a 15-under to win the British Open. From the KGSO Sports Desk, I'm Doug Downs.
This is John Sidoric with Heartland Avionics at Augusta Municipal Airport. With a $500 rebate available from the federal government for your ADSB installation, the mad rush is on. And at Heartland Avionics, we have 2 of the most popular brands pre-wired and ready to go, minimizing your aircraft's downtime. Heartland Avionics is also a certified dealer for many other ADSB installation options. Call Heartland Avionics or learn more at iflyaugusta.com.
Hello, my name is Mark Gietzen, and I'm running for mayor of Wichita. I am a Marine Corps veteran, the owner of Gietzen Aerial Services, the president of the Kansas Republican Assembly, the chairman of the Kansas Coalition for Life, and a strong supporter of the Second Amendment. I love Wichita, and I want to see Wichita prosper and grow. The best way to assure a thriving community is to attract growing businesses, which in turn provide good jobs. The best way to attract and keep great businesses is to limit or reduce the tax burden on them, particularly the city portion of property taxes. I will never raise your taxes. Wichita is a beautiful city, but little things like bad sidewalks, so common in the poor neighborhoods of Wichita, could easily be fixed for a small amount of money and would add dramatically to the overall positive image of our city. Please vote Mark Gietzen for mayor on August 6th.
The latest news from the Big Talker, KQAM.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo denies Iran's claim to have arrested 16 Iranian nationals it accuses of spying for the CIA.
It's part of the nature of the Ayatollah to lie to the world.
Iran says some of the suspects have already been sentenced to death. Progress in Washington, where a deal is reported to be close on the budget and to raise the debt ceiling. Correspondent Phil Mattingly reports.
Lawmakers have 5 days before the House leaves for its 5-week recess. Speaker Pelosi has made very clear if they want to raise the debt ceiling, which the Treasury Department says needs to happen before they leave for that August recess, a budget deal has to be coupled along with it.
House Republicans are pledging tough questioning of Special Counsel Robert Mueller when he testifies before Congress this week, as Democrats plan to air evidence of wrongdoing by the president in a potentially last-ditch bid by the Democrats to impeach him. On Wall Street, the Dow is down about 40 points, while the Nasdaq is up around 30. I'm Mike Moss.
Market information, Mid-America Ag Network. Yeah, we're seeing some pressure on our grains and soybeans. September corn is down 5 3/4 at $4.25. December is down 6 1/4 at $4.29.5. Later months are all down too. August soybeans down 8.5 at $8.93. September beans down 8.25 at $8.99. Soybean meal and soybean oil are tracking lower at the same time. Kansas City wheat has bounced around a bit, currently down 2.25 on the September contract, 437 3/4. December Kansas City wheat is down 3 at 456 3/4. Things in livestock look better. August live cattle now up 35 at 107.95. October up 1/4 at 108.75. August feeders up 92 at 140.90. September feeders up 107 at 140.87. Each of the later months is up in both fat cattle and feeder cattle, so things looking good for cattle. Hogs, well, taking a bit of a ride south. August hogs down 150 now at 82.37. October down 72 at 78.20. Markets, Mid-America Ag Network.
Your local weather on KQAM. Brought to you by Derby Mattress. No dancing animals, no gimmicks. Your locally owned hometown mattress store at 105 South Baltimore in Derby.
Here's your latest forecast on the Big Talker KQAM. For this morning, cloudy but clearing, high 83, winds gusting over 25 miles an hour, clear and 62 tonight, winds up to 20 miles an hour, sunny and clear tomorrow, high 83, low 61, sunny and 85 Wednesday. I'm Amp Harrell, and that's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker, AM 1480 and 102.5 FM KQAM.
At 11:06, it's currently 77 degrees.
Join me for the Brian Kilmeade Show weekdays at 8 a.m. until 11, right here on the Big Talker 1480 AM and 102.5 FM KQAM.
It's time for Reason.
That's the nature of the beast right now, so let's talk about conservatism, because we can win when we talk about the ideas. And people can't argue with it, because we win on platform when we actually argue the platform rather than go into these rhetorical bumper sticker type arguments.
You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
It's been a long time coming. It's been a long time coming. The boys are back.
Oh man, we're back at it. Hey, welcome into the Voice of Reason. It's a brand new day. It's a brand new week, and fresh off of vacation. It's the Voice of Reason, broadcasting live out of the heart of the nation here in Wichita, Kansas, on the Big Talker, 1480 on the AM side, 102.5 on the FM side, KQAM. We're hanging out all over YouTube Live, Facebook Live, social media. Check it out. Make sure to view us there. I am working on the whole, what is it, reverse raccoon eyes? Yeah, I know. I got burnt. I had a lot of sun. I'll talk about it in just a second, but I have the sunglasses streak across my eyes and across the side of my face on both ends. So I do have that going. Outside of that, I actually got a little bit of sun. I don't glow in the dark anymore. So I am excited about that aspect of my life. I just got to work on the rest of it. Hey, welcome in. 316-721-8255. It's a Monday morning. I am ready to go. You're ready to go. Let's get you pumped up. Let's get you through not only today, but the rest of the week. We have a lot to get to as we play catch-up from the last couple of days and from last week, and making it happen here on the show.
Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started.
Hey, welcome in. 316-721-8255. 316-721-TALK on the Shocker Pools hotlines. I want to hear from you today. What's on your mind? Big Monday, big week. It's going to be a lot of fun everywhere we go, no matter what direction we decide to chat about here on the show. And as I mentioned hold on here. See, this is again why got to fix this a little bit. The microphone's little almost about ready to fall off the little thing here, and then of course the little strings that hold the microphone up on the stand are of course a little wobbly, which means again I can fix it and I don't have to worry about a unionized job fighting for $15 an hour to come in, charge me an hour for 30 seconds of work to be able to screw that back on and tighten it up. See, that's the beauty of the private sector right there. So there you go. Thank you very much for not being a unionized place here. Welcome in. We got a lot to get to coming up on the show at 1 p.m. We have Trish Heilman. She is the one of the candidates for the at-large at Wichita School District seat. With that election coming up here in just a month or so, August 6th is the primary. That is one of the districts that will have a primary, so you will vote for that one. We have Trish Heilman. She'll be in at 1 today. We have the current incumbent of that seat coming on later on in the week, or next week, I believe. So we'll be chatting with many of these candidates. Coming up or later on this week, we also have some candidates coming on for Wichita Mayor's race. And that'll be exciting. So we'll start chatting with them here relatively soon. As a reminder, we'll continue to remind you as well, but Monday next week, a week from today, we do have our Wichita Mayor's Forum, our mayoral forum that KQAM will be hosting, and we'll have more information on that in just a bit, so stay tuned there. But I hope everybody had a great week, and it was nice to get away for a couple of days. Little voice of reason. She was with Grandma and Grandpa in Ohio for about a month. It's tradition, and we've been doing it for the last few years since we've been here, but my parents will come out on her birthday, which is June 1st, and celebrate her birthday, and then take her back to Ohio for about a month or so, and then we go back and get her, and that gives us a break. That gives us time to do stuff. That gives her time to go and get out of town for a little bit, enjoy the family, enjoy Grandma and Grandpa, see the other family that we had back there, because my entire family, except for a few odd cousins and stuff, but mostly my entire family is back in Ohio. So she gets to see everybody. They all get to see her. She gets to enjoy, and it's a great time. So we did that, and we went back to get her. Now, when we went there, let me tell you, it was one of those where I think I've gotten maybe like 4 hours of sleep a night for the last like 3 nights in a row, because you sometimes need a vacation from your vacation. It was an absolute blast time. It was one of the greatest weekends that I've had in a really, really long time. It was phenomenal, but you're exhausted afterwards. As we drove, so we got off the air Wednesday, and I ended up driving. It's about a 14-hour drive. Ended up driving out there overnight because why not? There's a lot of the lack of traffic that you don't have to deal with. So we drove overnight, got there first thing Thursday morning about, I don't know, like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, visited with some of them, took about a 2-hour nap, and then we had family come over. Got to visit some of the family. Then we had an event that night that we went to in the community, got to go and see that, which is really great. Stayed up late visiting with family then. We woke up, and many of you, show of hands, how many have heard of or been to, or at least heard of, Cedar Point, the largest roller coaster amusement park in the entire country. Amusement park is not like Disney World, but like roller coasters. Largest one in the country. They compete for the fastest, the tallest, the highest, the steepest roller coasters in the entire world. There's like one other roller coaster amusement park in Japan that always competes back and forth. It's on an island. It's up in Lake Erie. And if you've never been to the Great Lakes, highly encourage that as well. I kind of laugh with my wife because she grew up in Colorado, and they have the lakes up in the mountains, and they're little reservoirs. But I'm like, it's not a lake, honey. That's a pond. Because the lakes that I'm used to, or the Great Lakes, like Lake Erie that we were always close to, where you cannot see the other side of it, and it looks like an ocean. And you drive, or you at least get a boat, and you go across it, and you hit all the little islands, and then you go up to, you can go up to either Michigan, or you can go up to Canada on the other side of it. And Cedar Point is up in Sandusky, into that area as well, on one of the big islands, and that's where you go and ride the roller coaster. So we did that, and I told them too. I said, if we're going to do this, we're going to do this. We got there at about 9:30 in the morning when they opened, and we stayed and closed it down at midnight. And doing that in 95-degree weather with really big, really hot humidity, and riding all these rides and the adrenaline rush that you have all day, that's an exhausting day. So we ended up crashing there. And then we went to Put-in Bay, another island off of the area there. We took a boat out there, Put-in Bay. You got to drive the golf carts around, have some fun, visit a little bit. So it was the greatest, most relaxing weekend that I've had in a really long time. It was absolutely much needed. But because of that, and with all the sun and with the traveling and with the visiting and everything, you're tired. So bear with me if I'm a little off today, but I think we're back at it, ready to go, and I am excited. It's great to have Little Voice of Reason back. She had a blast as well, and now she's excited to be back home. So, all's well in the world, and it was a great trip, and I appreciate all the safe travel messages from everybody, and let's make this happen. So, we're doing it, baby. 316-721-8255. It's funny because every once in a while you have to step away from the politics, and sometimes you just got to decompress and just zone out from it. I have a hard time doing that, which is why I love talk radio. I love doing this because if I wasn't doing this, I would have an aneurysm yelling at things, and my wife would have to hear the wrath of it every single night when I'm scrolling through, and I see because I cannot decompress from it. Even when I'm on vacation, I see headlines, I get headlines, I read stories. I'm still involved in that sense because I have a really difficult time stepping away. I try, I just have a hard time doing it. And there were some things that I found were probably the most entertaining, laughable stories and headlines that I have seen in my entire life. While I'm on vacation, I'm sitting there on a roller coaster laughing because I see something like Bernie Sanders with his $15 an hour minimum wage not paying his staffers $15 an hour minimum wage. I find that hilarious. I laugh. And, of course, they're going to make up an excuse. Well, it's a campaign. It's not a business. Businesses have to do it, but not something like a campaign where the donations are iffy and we're not sure what's going to happen. And we'll talk about it in a little bit more in depth. But I find that hysterical. To me personally, that's my enjoyment in life, is finding stupid stories and laughing at people because they're not so bright while they advocate for something and they do something different. The hypocrisy. Remember the conservative book? Do as I say, not as I... What is it? Do as I say, not as I do, or something. But it mocks the progressives because they've done that for years. It's nothing new. It's nothing new. They always talk about, well, you need to pay higher taxes. You need to pay your fair share. You need to drive the electric car. You need to stop using energy. You need to stop using the cell phones. Whatever. But then they don't. And they're the ones, Al Gore, flying in his private jet all around the world telling you not to use fuel to drive your car because that's really bad for the environment, while he's flying in a private jet and then taking a motorcade everywhere he goes. He's allowed to do that because he's the one saving the world. We're not allowed to do that, right? So I chuckle. I find that amusing. I find that comical. Then you get someone like Bernie Sanders with his campaign. We see Elizabeth Warren now warning that apparently the economy is going to crash. I'm not sure when that's going to happen. We may take a little bit of a dip, but she's saying the economy is going to crash. All the candidates right now are saying that the economy is not doing well. It's only doing well for the rich people because they pay all the taxes, because they're the ones getting the tax breaks. Doesn't matter that they're paying the majority in the taxes, so they're obviously getting a tax break if there's a tax break because they're paying into it. You're not going to get a tax break if you're not paying taxes, right? I don't know how much more of a tax break you can get. Oh, that's right. We want appropriation. We want the subsidized money. We want social programs. We want the reparations. I mean, we want money coming to us. If we're not paying anything, then giving back from nothing is actually giving you something for free, right? And that's what they want. So if you're not getting that, then you're not being taken care of appropriately. So they have that argument on their hands. Again, I find comical because no one buys it, and which just solidifies the idea that President Donald Trump's going to win re-election coming up next year. There's actually a story that I found how Trump could lose by 5 million votes in the popular vote and still win in 2020. Definitely possible because we don't do a popular vote. Duh. That kind of headline, however, of course, riles up the other side of the aisle when they talk about repealing the Electoral College and going for a national popular vote because they want certain sects of the country to overrun everybody else. And who cares about the rural communities? If they want to have a voice, and they can come to the big city, right? So we have that. I want to get to that here in just a minute as well. We have electric car charging machines on the turnpike in Kansas and on the highway, on the interstate, which, let me tell you, I just drove cross country from Wichita, Kansas to Ohio. It's about a 14-hour drive. We took nothing but interstate the entire way. I didn't see one electric car charging station. I don't know why we need them. I traveled what, 800 miles, 1,000 miles, I think it was total, one way. I saw 0 electric car charging stations. Why would you do that? What kind of money are we spending to put in electric car charging stations? And why is that the big success that Governor Laura Kelly is going to have in the state? So I want to get to that here in a little bit as well, because I find that, again, things that I find comical while I'm on vacation, looking through and saying, wow, the world really has taken a dump just a little bit. 316-721-8255. Big stuff going on today. The federal budget is one, and of course you're not going to hear it in the media because they're focused on, of course, the Mueller hearings, and they're talking about Russian collusion, and they're talking about how Donald Trump allowed Iran to apparently kidnap 17 different Iranians who are working for the CIA, and that's the story. To make America look bad, I mean, here's the campaign slogan: Trump, make America great again. Donald Trump, keep America great. And then the media, make America look bad. And that's what they've done, going after the president's not qualified to be there. Look at this. Al Green and the Yahoos in the House of Representatives looking to impeach President Trump. Is it going to happen? Of course not. It's not going to happen. But they're talking about it because that's what they want to happen. They want to send this message to you, the constituent, you, the voter, that people are unhappy. People hate what's going on. People hate Donald Trump, and he's not fit to be there, not qualified to be there, doesn't know what he's talking about. And if they send that narrative enough, they're hoping that the people that half pay attention to politics catch on to this and say, well, I don't know who I want, but somebody other than Donald Trump, and then we'll be happy and good to go. And it's not really working. It's not. They're trying it, and it's worked forever with the media because the media has had this iron grip control over your views based on what they're actually reporting, but it's not true because there's something now called Twitter accounts. There's something called Donald Trump's Tweety. There's something called, the interweb, where you can search things yourself and you can research things yourself, and therefore you're not just regurgitating whatever the media reports to you, because most people now have an opportunity to research things and dive deeper into it and figure things out on their own. But with all that garbage that's going on in the media and the I hate Donald Trump and let's make America look bad with their media reporting, you're not hearing the disgruntling things like how the fact that we're about ready to pass an appropriations bill at the federal level. We're about ready to pass a federal budget, and there's no details about the budget. We don't know what the budget looks like. There were close to $150 billion worth of budget cuts that the White House advisor had actually put into the Donald Trump budget proposal, and those went to the wayside. And with zero budget cuts that are essentially happening in the budget, and with raising the debt ceiling for another 2 years to allow us to spend more money, you can see that even though the economy's growing, we're still spending more money than what we're bringing in. Revenue, we're doing good. We're bringing money in. It's record numbers coming in. That means the economy's well. People are getting tax hike. People are actually getting jobs. People are getting more money. People are getting salary bumps, which means the rates are higher, which means they're paying more money in taxes. Things are good. On the other hand, we're spending more than what we're receiving. It sounds familiar, doesn't it? Sounds like, Kansas, where we raise taxes over and over and over, and then we raise spending because we can't keep our spending under control and below what we're actually bringing in for revenue. We see more money, got to spend more money. You got to see more money, got to spend more money. Federal government's doing it, but, obviously a way bigger scale. As we were going to do $150 billion in cuts, that's not happening, and now we're going to see massive spending, a raising in the debt ceiling for 2 years. We have no idea what this budget looks like. I have no details on this in any way, shape, or form, but, hey, let's go ahead and cut out those cuts that we originally put in the budget, because that would be a brilliant, somehow really grand idea. I'd like to see what this budget looks like, but I really hope that many of our elected officials, Republicans and conservatives, vote against something like this, even though it's going to be a difficult budgetary process with a House of Representatives dominated and run by Democrats, which gives you Republicans in the House, hint, hint, wink, wink, our congressmen and women here in the state of Kansas, to vote against it, knowing it's still going to pass, but being able to actually stand your ground for conservative values, limited government values, and budget responsibility values that we no longer see in Washington, D.C., because I'm not going to support a bill that has absolutely zero budget cuts. Not going to do it. Not going to support it. I don't like it. I don't want it. Unless you're actually cutting and working towards cutting, which I understand $150 billion is a drop in the bucket for a budget that's trillions of dollars. I get it. It's not that much, but it's important. It means something. It's like the little jar that you put your coins in at the end of the day when you come home. You drop them in there. By the end of a month or two, you go and you got $20 and you can get a case of an adult beverage, or you can put it in the savings account, or you can do whatever you want to with it. That's kind of important. That's extremely important. Trump's been doing that little by little by little, but it's been difficult. The media doesn't report it. He hasn't been able to really do it in the budget, but he's been able to renegotiate when the government actually purchases items, upgraded aircrafts, upgraded military equipment, upgraded, Air Force One, whatever. He negotiates to make them cheaper. Little things, tiny things. It matters. It's meaningful. But we never hear about it. And then we see a budget like this, and the House will never, ever cut spending, because then, of course, we hate sick people and poor people and whatever. And Republicans say they want to, and then they continue to pass large subsidized bills that are just bad deals. So we'll get into some of the details of the budget. It's frustrating. It's maddening. It's sickening. But I don't know what else we can do, because the House is dominated by Democrats, which means the ones that predominantly have the power of the purse are the ones that are going to present a budget with more spending and less tax cuts and less cuts for spending in any way, shape, or form. And there's not a whole lot we can do. The question is, what kind of happy medium can we actually find to make everybody somewhat content moving forward? But again, with zero budget cuts, that means we've gotten zero out of it, and therefore I'm not content with that happy medium, because we have found no happy medium in this in any way, shape, or form. Got to take a break. 24 minutes past the hour. It's great to be back. Great to have you along with us here. I want to hear from you as we continue on, as we touch on some of the state stuff, some of the federal stuff, potentially new candidates running for the U.S. Senate seat here in Kansas as well. That's coming up. We'll touch on all that and more here on The Voice of Reason for a Monday.
This is The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier on the Big Talker, KQAM.
Today, yet another glaring example of Facebook's poor management and arrogance. Kim Commando with your Monday Consumer Tech Update, brought to you by SimpliSafe, the best security system for your home, period. Don't live in fear. Get yours today at simplysafekim.com. You may have heard about the 19-year-old Bella Delphine. She's a model who was using Instagram to sell jars of her bath water for $30 each. This past Friday, Instagram closed her account, saying only that she somehow violated the rules. Also on Friday, NBC News reported that Instagram was hosting numerous accounts that sell counterfeit money, U.S. dollars, euros, and British pounds. $1,000 of counterfeit cash cost $200 real dollars. Customers used the WhatsApp app in order to contact the seller. So Instagram threw out the bathwater and kept the counterfeiters. Who would make such a poor management decision? Here's a clue. Instagram and WhatsApp are both owned by Facebook. I'm Kim Commando. Here's something to think about. Only 1 in 5 homes has a security system. Maybe because most home security companies, they don't make it easy. SimpliSafe is totally different. Their system protects every door, every window, and room with optional 24/7 professional monitoring for just $15 a month. One thing that truly makes SimpliSafe stand out is their video verification technology. Here's how it works. When your alarm is triggered, SimpliSafe's professional monitoring team views the video from your Simply Cam to confirm there's a burglar in your home. Once confirmed, they send the video to the police so they can visually confirm the break-in and get to the scene 3.5 times faster than with other home security companies. SimpliSafe and I want you to be safe in your home, so they're offering a great deal. Free shipping and a 60-day money-back guarantee. Go to simplysafekim.com. Protect your family today. That's simplysafekim.com.
40 to the 30. The Burgers are on.
High school football is almost here, and your one-stop source for all your high school football is your High School Football Guide from the Mid-America Sports Network. Stay tuned in and hear where you can pick up your copy. Catch each team's season schedule, read about each team and coach, and follow your favorite team all season long. It's the Mid-America Sports Network Football Guide, and it's coming to a location near you.
Hi, I'm Carrie Davis. Happy to tell you about the opening of Carrie Davis Liquor.
I am Brian Davis, and for over 40 years, Davis Liquor Outlet of Wichita has been proud to provide you the best value for your dollar.
Before school classes go back into session this year, the doors will be open at Carrie Davis Liquor Outlet at Kellogg and Tyler.
You know, the building that used to house Vanderbilt's just west of Midwest Kia.
Be watching and listening for our grand opening announcement.
We are currently accepting applications. Apply online at davisliquoroutlet.com. Each store independently owned and operated, excludes 31st and Meridian.
It's finally time to get out and enjoy the weather, and there's no better way than in your very own swimming pool from Shocker Pools. Shocker Pools has been providing fun in backyards in and around Wichita for years, and they can design a pool to fit your backyard and budget. Get online at shockerpools.com. Check out their gallery, then give them a call to discuss how a new pool can be a part of your home. If you already have a pool and are looking for chemicals, pool toys, or anything that can enhance your summer fun, stop by Shocker Pools today, just north of Central on Webb Road. If a hot tub's more your style, see their selection of Dimension 1 hot tubs, only at Shocker Pools.
For all the reasons you ride, it's Heartland Bicycle in the heart of Old Town at 111 North Mosley. Heartland Bicycle has just about anything a person could need. Any accessory imaginable. Lights, locks, helmets, gloves, clothing, air pumps. And with gift certificates in any amount with no expiration date, a gift certificate from Heartland Bicycle is guaranteed to fit every rider. Heartland Bicycle at 111 North Mosley in Old Town. Learn more online at heartlandbike.com.
If you can't stop listening to talk radio, listen to the best, the Big Talker, KQAM.
You know, I do have to admit that going to some place like Cedar Point where they had the roller coasters and the music parts, the amusement park and all the roller coasters, rides, everything, you should definitely go and experience it, especially if you've never been one that's ridden a whole lot of roller coasters, or if you think you've ridden a whole lot of roller coasters. You're funny. Unless you've gone to some place like that. My wife was huge about it. Loves roller coasters. I've gone to Six Flags, my whole life. And I was like, that's awesome. You haven't experienced anything. We took her to some of those and got her on some of the rides. For example, There's one called the Top Fuel Dragster, and it looks like a drag racing car. You get up to 120 miles an hour in 4 seconds. The entire ride's 19 seconds. You go 325 feet up in the air at a 90-degree angle, straight up, straight back down the other way with a little twist, and boom, you're done, baby. And she was a little shell-shocked after that one. That was the opening ride. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. See, the adrenaline rush, baby, it makes you feel good. Makes you almost feel like there's not crazy people in the world, right? Got to take a break here. Bottom of the hour news coming up. Stay here.
Now, back to the KQAM News Desk.
President Trump is responding to Iran's claim of busting up a spy ring working for the U.S. Correspondent Bob Costantini with more.
Here's the official White House response as put out by a tweet from President Trump. The report of Iran capturing CIA spies is totally false, zero truth, just more lies and propaganda like their shot-down drone put out by a religious regime that is badly failing and has no idea what to do.
Thousands spent the night without power and are still without power in New York and Michigan. Those outages come in the middle of a powerful heat wave that is sweeping the nation. President Trump and the First Lady have paid their final respects to the late Supreme Court Justice John Paul Stevens. His body lies in repose today in the Great Hall of the Supreme Court. Equifax will pay up to $700 million to settle with the FTC and others over a 2017 data breach exposing Social Security numbers and private information. The Dow down a few points. I'm Mike Moss.
At Walgreens, we know that your day doesn't stop for diabetes. So when you've got places to go and people to see, count on Walgreens every day to get expert diabetes advice 24/7. Find all major brands of testing supplies like Walgreens True Metrics in-store and online. And download tools to help you stay on track, like our 5-star mobile app with Pill Reminder. At Walgreens, we are your diabetes go-to. Stop by and talk to your pharmacist today. Walgreens, trusted since 1901.
You can always count on Miller High Life, the champagne of beers. Always crisp, always easy drinking, always just right. The perfect balance of flavor and refreshment since 1903. Welcome to the High Life. 2019 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Celebrate responsibly.
Not an act.
Mid-America Network News. An 18-year-old man is accused of impersonating a law enforcement officer by using emergency lights on his vehicle to stop another driver in Dodge City. The Ford County Sheriff's Office says around 1:45 a.m. on Saturday, deputies responded to the report of a suspicious vehicle that had pulled over a car. The suspect's car was found near the Ford-Gray County line on Highway 50. Deputies pulled over the car and arrested the man for false impersonation of a law enforcement officer. A Missouri man has been sentenced to 55 years in prison for kidnapping and raping a Kansas sheriff's deputy. Brady Newman Cadell of Independence was sentenced on Friday. He pled guilty last year to rape and kidnapping and other charges. William Luth of Blue Springs, Missouri was sentenced last year to more than 41 years in prison for his role in the crime. Prosecutors say the two men kidnapped the Johnson County deputy in October of 2016. I'm Stephanie Austin.
Now this important message from Continental Truck Accessories at 6701 South Broadway.
Hi, I'm Bob Shippers.
And I'm Terry Mishak. We're the owners of Continental Truck Accessories.
Stop by our showroom at 6701 South Broadway and we'll help you customize your truck or SUV. Choose from a large selection of floor mats, toppers, lids, bed covers, Nerf bars, grill guards, and other accessories. Continental Truck Accessories is the exclusive Wichita dealer for guarded spray-on bed liners.
Show your truck all the love it will ever need from Continental Truck Accessories.
This moment of peacefulness is brought to you by Rusty Eck Ford.
Price sells cars at Rusty Eck Ford. Now at Rusty Eck, you can get a discount of $2,000 off every Ford F-150 in stock. And you keep the rebates up to over $6,200. That's over $8,200 in discounts and rebates. Plus, we'll throw in a new Green Mountain Grill with built-in Wi-Fi when you buy.
Save thousands on an F-150 and get a Green Mountain Grill? You bet. Your choice of a Davy Crockett smoker or a Daniel Boone smoker for your summer fun. And don't forget about our award-winning service. See what's going on at rustyackford.com.
All rebates to dealer cannot be combined, plus tax and fees. Discounts from MSRP offer expires 7/30/19.
Here's your latest forecast on the Big Talker KQAM. For this morning, cloudy but clearing, high 83, winds gusting over 25 miles an hour, clear and 62 tonight, winds up to 20 miles an hour, sunny and clear tomorrow, high 83, low 61, sunny and 85 Wednesday. I'm Amp Harrell, and that's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker, AM 1480 and 102.5 FM KQAM.
At 11:35, it's currently 80 degrees.
Politics, news, weather, and ag. The Big Talker, 1480 AM and 102.5 FM KQAM. Your only local conservative talk show. The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier, here on the Big Talker, 1480 AM and 102.5 FM. KQAM.
Hey, there it is, 35 minutes past the hour. This is The Voice of Reason. I'm Andy Hoosier. Great to be along with you for the ride today as we hang out. What's happening? Thanks for hanging out with us here on Radio AM and FM, on YouTube, on Facebook, on KQAMradio.com, on the TuneIn app stream. Doesn't really matter where you're at. Or even on Alexa, you can do that as well. So thanks for checking us out, listening to us each and every day here. 316-721-8255 if I can talk today. 316-721-TALK. If you want to join into the program, I'd love to hear from you. Again, Trish Heilman, candidate for Wichita City School Board, will be joining us at 1 p.m. School Board. She'll be hanging out with us here for a little bit as we begin our Get to Know the Candidates, because that's kind of important, right?
It's time to get to know the candidate.
Yes. So we'll be doing that here in just a little bit in the third hour of the program. There's also a story where government, apparently you can track the size of government and how well it's growing here, especially in the state of Kansas. So I do want to touch on that here in just a bit. But first off, I drove from Wichita, Kansas to the northwest corner of Ohio and up to Sandusky, where Cedar Point and where all the nice little islands in Lake Erie and everything is. Drove up there. I saw, just to let you know about this, you know, obviously driving the interstate, driving and stopping and getting gas and hanging out, I saw absolutely zero electric car charging stations. Because if I would have saw them, I would have laughed at them. And you know me, I would have taken a photo, I would have put it on social media, I would have said, well, look how ridiculous these things are. There are a few places, I believe, in town here already where there are some electric car charging stations. One of them at Town East Mall next to where I live, and I've gone there, and I've been there numerous times, and I have yet to see a single car actually parked there using the charging station. So I'm curious about when it comes to the electric car charging stations, is it necessarily needed? Is it really needed? Because I'm pretty sure right now there's not much of a demand for it. I don't know how many people actually use them. Look, we live in Kansas, and Kansas has like farmers and stuff. And we have tractors and big trucks, and we have the majority. Now, there is a population, obviously, in the city that doesn't need any of that, and they use a little bit smaller cars. And I've seen a couple of the, like, beep, beep, little cars, and maybe those are electric. I don't know. But I've seen, like, the little Priuses and those sorts of things. But even them, they use, like, the electric gas hybrid, to where when you run out of the charge, then it uses the gas, and therefore you can still get home at the end of the day if you have gas in your vehicle, but then you're saving the environment or whatever you feel like you're doing, or gas mileage. I mean, there's good gas mileage there. There is a benefit there of the fact that you're using electricity. But then you go home, and you plug your car in, and you charge it, and you recharge the battery. I don't know why I saw this headline of Governor Laura Kelly announcing that the state of Kansas on the Turnpike would be getting these different electric charging stations on our Turnpike. Here's the headline from her on her Facebook page. This morning, I joined Secretary Lawrence from the Kansas Department of Transportation to showcase a new electric vehicle charging station on I-70. We're headed for more efficient, cleaner future. And I see them, and I laugh. Because, look, I may not be a professional, I may not be an expert on this, but I don't know how long it takes to charge a vehicle. Do you really want to sit there and charge for 4 or 5 hours at a charging station? I'm guessing this is going to go at like rest stops rest stops where you can go and fill up your gas for your car. But that's, boom, 30 seconds, you're done, you're back on the road, you're happening. If you have to sit there for 4 hours and charge your vehicle, you're probably going in the wrong direction. Or you're probably planning for it in some way, shape, or form. I don't know. Can you actually take the batteries out of those things? I doubt it. It's probably like a gas tank kind of thing where you just charge it, and there you go, and then there you go. And how much did they cost, by the way? I'd like to see that. The story from the Topeka Capital Journal announcing this didn't actually give a amount on how much this actually cost. But they were all giddy about this and how Governor Laura Kelly says it's a quote-unquote game changer of the fact that now we have the charging stations in Kansas on I-70 so they don't have to face the frustration or the fear of their battery actually dying when they're driving across the state of Kansas if they're going through. Now, we are a longer state. I get that. I have yet to see, however, again, a rest stop in any other state, including Kansas, that actually had charging stations for the electric cars. And if you know that it only has about a 300-mile range on your electric car, then you plan appropriately. And you probably don't take that on your long-term travels. You don't do road trips and cross-country road trips with an electric car when you only have a 300-mile radius and you have very few charging stations. Now, will we go that way eventually? Probably. At some point, maybe. But right now, nobody's using it. And why are we spending money on something like this when we don't need it just because we say we can? We could have a charging station there to say, look, it's all green and it's pretty. But if no one's using it, then what's the point of spending money on it? You got to have a demand for it. And maybe this is the difference between the private sector and the public sector. The private sector doesn't create something until there's a demand for it, or they know there's a demand, or there will be a demand in order to have it in place ready to go for you. I don't see that with a public sector government operation to where you say, let's put in an electric car charging station, and then one person can use it, for every, week that it's sitting there. It's a waste of time. Again, I've yet to see one actually be used at Town East Mall. And that's in the city where people don't go, or where people would be more frequent to actually use something like this and travel more with their electric car because they know they're just hanging out in town. Now I'm going to go to the mall real quick. I can sit there and charge it while I'm actually walking around the mall. Okay, that would be, I could see that, but I left because it's there and no one actually likes it or no one uses it. It's just sitting there. It's using up space that we could park other cars with, and they want to have it there as the nice little cute charging. Hey, look at this. Charge electric cars. I don't know. Do you like this? Do you think it's actually progressing in the right direction, that it's going to be able-bodied or going to be used down the road? Or is this a waste of time and a waste of money? I'm curious on who actually spent money on this. According to the Topeka Capital Journal, manufacturers are projected to spend some $500 billion over the next 7 to 8 years on electric vehicle development. That's nice. But this is a conglomerate. This is a working between the Kansas Turnpike Authority, West Star Energy, and the Kansas City Power and Lights, which means more likely than not, this is all subsidized by our state government. At least I think. I don't know. I could be wrong on that. I would guess that this is probably subsidized by the state government, and why Governor Laura Kelly had to be there to make a speech and do a ribbon cutting on how great these things look when no one's going to use it. Maybe this gives you the opportunity. Maybe the reason you haven't is because you haven't been able to charge it. But look, I've been doing a little bit of reading on this, but you could charge it anywhere from 30 minutes to 12 hours. If you have to sit there and charge it for 2 hours, do you really want to sit at a rest stop? I guess if you're doing a quick little 30-minute poof, there and done, you could walk around, stretch your legs a little bit, hang out. Me? Like I said, just doing a 12-hour road trip, 14-hour road trip. I'm one of those, let's get it done. Let's do as few breaks as we can. We stop, for absolutely nothing except for fill up gas. If you're going to use the restroom as quick as possible, or else you're using a canister in the car, because I'm not stopping, baby. We're driving through. We're getting her done. Which, tell that to a 5-year-old kid and 2 dogs riding in the back seat and how well that actually works out. I'm just saying, but I tried it. That was my attempt of trying to be efficient and driving at a very long distance at a very quick pace. But do you really want to, if you're driving across country, do you really want to stop for 2-3 hours and walk around and stop and hang out? I mean, it's not going to be at like some tourist attraction. Not going to stop at a zoo and be like, I'm going to charge my car at an electric charging station at the zoo while I walk around. That's not how it works. I'm going to charge at a rest stop where you get nothing but like vending machines and a nice little like grassy area to walk around. I don't know. It's weird to me. 316-721-8255. I think it's a waste of money. I think the governor is trying to look green and efficient, but it's not really helping the community. It's not really doing anything. So why we're focusing time and money on that? But again, this is the same governor, I guess, that did try and veto mental health funding and try and raise education funding, and then tried to veto other parts of the budget, and then tried to, use executive order when she wasn't supposed to. So there is that. The priorities here are just a little bit strange. Just a little bit strange. 316-721-8255. Let's take a break. When I come back, I want to shift gears a little bit and go into the size of government. Where are we? Plus, a new name that's popped up in the media that hasn't really been in there for a while. Former Governor Sam Brownback back in the media. I know. Why? Governor Sam Brownback is back in there because now he's advocating for a new movement, as he's now the U.S. Ambassador at Large for religious freedom across the nation, working with Secretary Mike Pompeo, working with the United Nations. And he's come out and has made a announcement that even though no one ever hears about this seat ever, he's announced that more than 80% of the global population lives under some form of religious restrictions, which is sad. And again, this burns me up when you have people that complain about living in America and don't respect the American flag and don't respect and actually appreciate what we have in the nation, because you live in a nation where you can believe anything you want to believe in. And then we have other parts of the world, many parts of the world, where there is some form of restriction. You're not allowed to be a Christian. You're not allowed to be a Jew. You're not allowed to be a whatever. There's some type of restriction, and it's sad. So we have freedoms. We complain about it because we take them for granted, and then we trash the nation that allows us to have that, while other nations would kill to actually have those types of restrictions, or those restrictions moved, and actually have religious rights to believe what you want to believe in. So with 80% of the global population living under some form of religious restriction, former Governor Sam Brownback, now for the Ambassador at Large for Religious Freedom, is launching the global movement to end religious persecution. That's awesome. I told you this was going to be his niche. He loves this stuff. Even when he was governor, he was very religious. He based his ideals based on his religious values. That's why he was the #1 governor to try and limit abortion in the state. He really tried to focus on children, rising children out of poverty, which he did. He was very successful in those aspects. Dislike him all you want to. He did amazing at those because he based on his faith and his religion. Now that he's fighting for religion, he's making something out of it, baby. He's a go-getter. He's a doer. He's doing something. And now the fact that he's starting this national movement, trying to bring awareness that there are religious restrictions across the world, that is amazing. Good for him. And I tell you what, it shows again, too, that Donald Trump knows how to pick people and get things done. And former Governor Sam Brownback is doing an amazing job there. So it's good to see him back in the news. I hope that he's able to succeed in moving with this awareness project. But during the week in Washington that saw President Donald Trump, of course, this is the Wichita Eagle with his racist insults of 2 Muslims here in the country. You love how they twist that. It wasn't about their religion, but he attacked them, and they are Muslims, so therefore he's attacking Muslims, because it's nothing about their ideas, nothing about their ideology, nothing about their, hatred attacks on him, nothing about their socialist mindset. It's solely the fact that they're Muslim, and therefore that's why he tweeted against them. But during that week where he sent racist tweets to Muslims, then he's hyping up someone who's fighting for religious rights, like Brownback. What a hypocrite Donald Trump really actually is, right? What a hypocrite! Because you're not allowed to criticize anybody if they're a different religion. You're not allowed to actually get in a brawl because someone's a different skin color. Then it's a hate crime. It's not because they were a jerk or you were a jerk and you deserved it, or, you just got, whatever. You're not allowed to criticize. If they're a different skin color or religion or gender, you cannot criticize them. You cannot attack them. You have to say that they're wonderful, they're great. You have to support whatever they're doing, believe in whatever they're believing in, because if you say no, then you're a racist, you're a bigot, you're a homophobe, you're a sexist, you're a whatever. So well done on that one. Quote, it's past time to bring down these religious restrictions so that the iron curtain of religious persecution can come down one and for all. It comes down now, according to Brownback at the State Department's annual second ministerial to advance religious freedom meeting and dinner, speaking there. So kudos to him. I'm glad he's working on it, and he's absolutely right. If we can bring religious liberties to everybody, imagine the prosperity we can get. Imagine the success that we can see as a nation and as a world. Imagine how happy and fruitful people can be. Maybe starting to end some of these ridiculous religious wars going on around the world that have been happening for centuries. Will that ever happen? Probably not. But if we can put in some protections or at least bring awareness to it to fight for religious liberties, then the world might just be a little bit happier place, you think? And God bless Sam Brownback for actually doing that. Got to take a break. 10 minutes at the top of the hour right here on The Voice of Reason. Stay tuned.
You're listening to The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Market information, Mid-America Ag Network. It has been kind of a tough Monday so far for corn, soybeans, and Kansas City wheat. We saw Kansas City wheat bounce up just a bit right after we got the open, but after that, things have kind of deteriorated. September Kansas City wheat down 6 now at 434. December down 6 3/4 at 453. All three of the wheat markets are down. Corn and soybeans continue to slink away. September corn down 8 at 422 3/4. December down 8.5 at 427 1/4. So nothing positive there. August soybeans down 11.5 at 890. September beans down 11.5 at 895 3/4. And we're seeing some issues with the products too. August soybean meal down 250 at 308.70. September bean meal is down 250 at 310. August soy oil is 29 points lower at 27.81. September's down 26 points at 27.94. So corn, soybeans, Kansas City wheat not responding well so far here on Monday. August live cattle, on the other hand, up 60 at 108.20. October up 47 at 108.97. Back months are all solidly green. Same story with feeders. August feeder cattle up 157 at 141.55. September feeders up 165 at 141.45. Now each of the later months in feeder cattle up by more than $1. So a very strong day for feeders. Hogs are mixed. August hogs down 65 at 83.22, but October hogs up 25 at 79.17. And again, all the back months are on the upside. So for the most part, things look positive in the livestock complex, and cotton is on a bit of a rally so far today anyhow. October cotton is at 62.64. That's up 39 points, while December cotton is at 63.54. That's up 47 points. So a pretty strong day so far for cotton, corn, soybeans, Kansas City wheat. Not doing well presently. Market update, Mid-America Ag Network.
You're busy working. Now get busy saving. It's easy at your authorized Bobcat dealer, White Star Machinery. For a limited time, we're offering cashback rebates up to $13,000 on new Bobcat excavators. Or take advantage of 0% financing for 48 months with approved credit. And we'll give you up to $8,000 back. Don't miss these limited time offers with cashback and 0% financing. Stop by your local White Star or call 866-587-7442 today.
White Star, get the job done.
It's that time of year when the grill is always the best cooking option, so stop by your favorite Yoder Meats location to pick up some great meat for the grill. Steaks, chops, burgers, brats, marinated chicken, we've got it all, plus a nice variety of specialty items that you won't find anywhere else. Our Yoder Meats bundles and butcher bags are great options for buying in bulk and saving, and for a special treat, how about our homemade cinnamon rolls, cakes, and cookies? Don't forget the snack sticks for a quick bite on the go. Follow us on Facebook for all the latest information and specials. Taste the old-fashioned flavor at Yoder Meats in Yoder and 3 locations in Wichita.
Are you looking to conserve water and have a beautiful lawn? This summer, convert your lawn to a warm season turf grass such as barefoot buffalo grass or Monaco Bermuda grass. Once established, these drought-tolerant grasses provide a low-maintenance lawn and will save you time and money. Contact Starseed today to learn more about our 2019 lawn and turf varieties. Call 800-782-7311 or visit our website at gostarseed.com.
Joe Pags, today after Dave Ramsey on AM 1480 and 102.5 FM KQAM.
6 minutes at the top of the hour. Welcome into the Voice of Reason. Great to have you for the ride today. Making it happen, wrapping up hour number 1. Lots to get to today. We have the Bill O'Reilly update coming up in just a few minutes, so that way you can check out what's going on with him. We have Trish Heilman, candidate for Wichita School Board, coming on at 1 o'clock with us today. We have a lot of candidates coming throughout the show. this week, so it's going to be great to chat with them as we get closer and closer to election time. Make sure to get out the vote. Get out the vote. Get out the vote Tuesday on August 6th, and next week we'll have our candidate forum. Again, if you want to submit a question for it, which I've gotten a few of them, so I appreciate that, but if you want to ask a question to the mayor candidates at our forum, you can do so. Email me, Andy@KQAMradio.com, Andy@KQAMradio.com. Shoot me the question. Say, hey, ask the candidates this. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be next Monday, July 29th from 7 to 9 p.m. at the Mary Jane Teal Theater at Century 2, and we're going to have our KQA and Wichita Mayoral Candidate Forum, the last one going into the primary, so this is your last chance to really meet them all right then and there. I'm going to be emceeing it. We're going to broadcast it live on the radio here. Jim Price, host of the Jim Price Show, which thanks to him, by the way, for filling in for the show Thursday and Friday last week. That was awesome. I appreciate that very much. He's going to be moderating the debate while I MC it, so we'll be tag teaming this guy, and looking forward to the event. So make sure to come out. We have the event going on Facebook, the event page, so make sure to go to remind yourself there. Join it, say you're going to go. But if you want to, Monday, July 29th, the next Monday, 7 to 9 p.m., at the Mary Jane Teal Theater in Century 2 is the last Wichita Mayoral Candidate Forum before the actual primary. Email me questions if you have any, Andy@KQAMradio.com. Let's go to the phones here, shall we? 5 minutes to the top of the hour. Line number 1. Good afternoon. Who's this?
This is Eddie.
Eddie, how are you, sir?
I'm fine. Oh, by the way, your team that filled in for you did good.
Fantastic.
And I had my little internet on, so I could see your helper there, your intern. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
In my personal opinion, I thought he did a fabulous job.
Good.
I thought he did an excellent. Seriously, and you know me, I tell the truth. And
hey, we got a chance to win him over to the political side, right? Get him away from that sports stuff.
Yes. You know, I tell you what. Yesterday you're talking about electric cars and stuff. Yesterday I went downtown, and I deliberately drove between Hillside and Seneca Street. On Douglas going to the west.
Sure.
I counted 14 electric scooters on the sidewalk and 2 in the street.
Were they being ridden on the sidewalk, or were they just sitting there?
No. They were riding on the sidewalk, and I kind of I noticed. And they were weaving in and out of people that were walking on the sidewalk, you know. And, no, those are, Andy, honestly, honestly, it's suicidal to be in the street.
Oh,
it
absolutely.
Really
it's ridiculous.
And, you know, when you go on the bike path, and if you're walking on the bike path, a bike path is also a pedestrian path. And usually a bicycle will come up behind you, and they'll say bicyclists or on your right or something like that. And that's what needs to happen downtown. They just need to, whenever they pass somebody, they just need to yell out on your right or on your left or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
But 14 on the sidewalk, only 2 in the street.
So in other words, they don't even know the rules when they're riding these around, because they're not supposed to be on the sidewalk. They're riding on, but they are riding on the sidewalk. So they have no idea what the rules even are. So well done on that accomplishment, I guess.
Rules, they're more than likely, in their opinion, their safety and their life is worth 10 times more than what some silly rule that some silly old man decides we're going to put scooters on the street. Seriously.
Wow. That's well, you know what? It seems like we're trying to go so hard, and it's the entire state as a whole, not the city or anything particularly, but the entire state. We had the scooters up in Kansas City. I think they were talking about them in Topeka as well. But we're going in this direction of we want to demonize vehicles so much that we want to now have the scooters. We want to do this electric car thing and the electric car charging stations. We want to go so green that it's making things more of a nuisance and actually harming than it is helping right now. And I wonder when this whole fad is going to bust, and we're going to go back to saying, you know what, let's go back to good old reliable, because it's still there.
I don't know, but now you just imagine 1,000 scooters downtown. They are literally cluttering up the sidewalk. Well,
you got to remember, too, when you're done riding it, you don't take it back to the station. You just put it to the side of the road, and they're going to go and collect them all, and then that way you can just leave them where they're at. So that's going to cause a clutter.
Okay. I saw a few that were just in front of businesses, just laid over, like abandoned, you might say. It's a big joke, and I'm sorry to see it in our city.
Well, it is sad to see. Eddie, I appreciate it. I'm glad that you got to enjoy some of that and got to see all the scooters there. Again, it is a safety hazard, but again, just the whole sidewalk thing, the leaving it on the side of the road and them coming to pick it up, it's weird all around. Now we have electric car charging stations that no one's going to use that we spent money on. It's just one of these days, these cool little hipster fads are going to go to the wayside and we can get back to reality.
Have you ever stopped to think about just how many songs have been written about time? Multiply it by hundreds. And that's the number of timepieces at Scott Child's Old Time Clock Shop. Scott Child's Old Time Clock Shop. 1946 West 13th Street North in the heart of Riverside.
Time of my life.
Hi again, everybody. Tony White, Augusta Flight Center. Want to talk about our flight training packages. Private pilot packages starting at just $5,900. Now that'll get you 47 and a half hours in the aircraft, 2.5 hours on our flight training device, 45 hours of instruction, also a free headset and a free home study kit. For more information on this and other flight training options, visit our website at iflyaugusta.com, our Facebook page, or you can call us at 316-733-4080.
This is a Stick Line Communications Station, K273CX, FM 102.5, and AM 1480 KQAM, Wichita Proud.
Bill O'Reilly here, Monday, July 22nd, 2019. You are listening to the O'Reilly Update. Here's what's happening across our nation. The race controversy continues, driven by the media. Iran allegedly dismantling a secret CIA spy ring. Major airlines cancel flights to Cairo, Egypt, citing terror concerns. Marijuana use among pregnant women on the rise. Bernie Sanders campaign people complaining about poverty wages. Also coming up, my message of the day, words you cannot say anymore. But first, Iranian officials now claim they dismantled a secret CIA spy ring operating within the country, arresting 17 people as part of a nationwide sweep. Secretary of State Pompeo urging caution, saying the Islamic Republic routinely lies. Tensions between Washington, London, and Tehran continue to deteriorate after Iran seized a British oil tanker in the Straits of Hormuz last week. Lufthansa and British Airways warning of new terror threats for those traveling to Cairo, Egypt, canceling flights as a safety precaution following the UK's intelligence assessment of a heightened risk of terrorism against aviation. In 2015, you may remember, a terror bomb destroyed a Russian passenger jet over the Sinai, killing 225 people on board. Marijuana consumption by pregnant women skyrocketing in states that have legalized the drug. Researchers from Kaiser Permanente say self-reported use of cannabis by pregnant Americans rose from 2% in 2009 to 4% in 2018. Some pot shops even promote pot edibles as cures for morning sickness. There is zero scientific evidence to support that claim, but plenty of evidence to support that intoxicants harm babies. More trouble for the struggling Bernie Sanders campaign. Staffers complaining about poverty, wages, and lack of benefits. Workers telling the Washington Post that Sanders is reluctant to pay $15 an hour to full-time employees. Negotiations are underway. It's official, Marvel's The Avengers Endgame, now the highest-grossing film of all time, taking down Avatar. Endgame has earned more than $2.8 billion worldwide. Finally, the Trump racism controversy raging in the media. Please read my message of the day on BillO'Reilly.com. Next, the message of the day on the O'Reilly Update. Words you better not say anymore. Right back with it. Millions of Americans have been diagnosed with cancer or a serious illness. If you are one of them, and money is a problem, you're not alone. It's simple. If you own a life insurance policy of $100,000 or more, then Life Guide Partners can evaluate your coverage for free to see if you qualify for cash now when you need it the most. Be ready to take down this number. If you own a life insurance policy of $100,000 or more and you are living with a serious illness, then Life Guide partners can evaluate your coverage free to see if you qualify for cash now. So write this number down, 1-888-GUIDE-50. Totally free to call. Get rid of those insurance premiums. Stop paying them. Consider turning that life policy into cash. The number again, 1-888-GUIDE-50. 1-888-484-3350. 1-888-GUIDE-50. Call now.
This is Phil Martinez from Phil's Coins. It's sad when it happens, but there are still businesses out there that will try the old bait and switch. They'll promise you one thing to get you in and then deliver far less, or something totally different once you're there. At Phil's Coins, when we say we buy, sell, and trade with honesty and integrity, that's exactly what we mean. In fact, I encourage you to shop the competition first. It will make doing business with Phil's Coins like a walk in the park. Phil's Coins, 9344 West Central.
It's Mary from Wildwood Cellars. We've won over 600 awards and titles for our wines, but the most important thing is we make wines that taste good. With over 40 to choose from, dries to sweets, meads made with honey, sangrias, and even a jalapeno wine, you'll find the wines you love at Wildwood Cellars, where you can try before you buy. The tastings are free at the northeast corner of Maple and Ridge Road in Wichita, or the main winery right next to the Mulvane Turnpike exit, or online at wildwoodcellars.com.
Time now for the O'Reilly Update message of the day. If you research the city of Berkeley, California, home to the University of California, you will learn that it's named after an Irish Catholic bishop. It is home to about 112,000 people, and it was the center of the free speech movement during the Vietnam protest years. So how then did Berkeley turn into a fascist enclave? It is a fascinating story. First of all, if you live in Berkeley, you know the prevailing philosophy is far left, politically correct, and not tolerant of opposing points of view. It's like living in Burma, not a lot of subtlety. They may call it Myanmar, but the country is really just guys with guns telling you what to say and do as you traverse the road to Mandalay. In Berkeley, it's not guys or guns. It's a diverse city council enforcing its fascist dictums through ordinances and intimidation. In an unintentional homage to George Orwell's brilliant 1949 novel, 1984, the Berkeley junta has adopted an ordinance to replace gendered language in the city's municipal code, in effect telling everyone dealing with the city that you can't say certain things. And what are those things? How about the pronouns she, he, her, and him? They're banned. Also many other words. Here's a partial list. Manpower, chairman, fireman, firewoman, fraternal, ombudsman, patrolman, sister, brother, heirs, fraternity, and sorority. Far out, man. The city leaders graciously providing alternatives to the banished words. For example, manpower is now called human effort. A brother is to be called a sibling. Berkeley council member Regal Robinson told the San Francisco Chronicle, quote, gender-neutral language creates a lot of room to acknowledge that it's not just men running the country, unquote. Right on, my man. Sorry, my gender-neutral friend. George Orwell wrote of a society where totalitarianism and repressive regimentation of speech and thought ruled. Few thought his description of newspeak would ever actually happen in America. And speaking of America, the inclusive language guide put forth by Colorado State University suggests that students no longer say that word. That's right, America is not to be uttered on the CSU campus. Why? Here's the explanation. Quote, America encompasses more than just the U.S., so by using the word, one erases other cultures, unquote. OMG, how woke is that? By the way, CSU also suggests students not use the word straight because it implies you're abnormal if you're not straight or something. Kind of confusing. America, sorry, academic pinheads, has really changed, hasn't it? George Orwell saw it coming. Here's what I see coming: a citizen uprising against the social and political madness that is currently gripping the country. I hope I'm as perspicacious as George Orwell. That is the message of the day. For more fact-based, honest analysis, please visit BillO'Reilly.com. You like it. Coming next, something you might not know. It's an uncertain world out there, you know that. Disaster can strike at any time. So you need to be prepared to protect yourself and your family. One way to do that is with freeze-dried food. It tastes good. It's healthy. Can be stored for 25 years. That's why I'm happy to tell you about a company I recommend, Wise Foods. I have experience with them myself. During Superstorm Sandy, I lost power for 7 days. All of my refrigerated food done. But my food supply from Wise Foods was as fresh as the day I received it. Visit Wise Food Storage, one word, wisefoodstorage.com/bill, and explore their starter kits and long-term emergency food options. They are even offering free shipping plus a big discount of 25% off for my listeners. So please go to wisefoodstorage.com/bill, wisefoodstorage.com/bill, or you can call 855-269-0501. That's 855-269-0501.
Hello, my name is Mark Gietzen, and I'm running for mayor of Wichita. I am a Marine Corps veteran, the owner of Gietzen Aerial Services, the president of the Kansas Republican Assembly, the chairman of the Kansas Coalition for Life, and a strong supporter of the Second Amendment. I love Wichita, and I want to see Wichita prosper and grow. The best way to assure a thriving community is to attract growing businesses, which in turn provide good jobs. The best way to attract and keep great businesses is to limit or reduce the tax burden on them, particularly the city portion of property taxes. I will never raise your taxes. Wichita is a beautiful city, but little things like bad sidewalks, so common in the poor neighborhoods of Wichita, could easily be fixed for a small amount of money and would add dramatically to the overall positive image of our city. Please vote Mark Gietzen for mayor on August 6th.
Now the O'Reilly Update brings you something you might not know. When it comes to America's sleeping habits, the days of a restful, uninterrupted slumber are largely over. In 1942, the average American slept 8 hours a night. Now most people are awakened twice every evening by a myriad of machines, including smartphones, laptops, even streaming television services. According to a new survey published by the Smithsonian Magazine, 60% of us find it difficult to fall asleep on a daily basis. Doctors warn sleeping less than 7 hours each night can weaken the immune system, leading to weight gain, increased risk of diabetes, and even cause dementia. For those getting a good night's rest, it's not just about the amount of sleep. Researchers at Johns Hopkins found that when people sleep is just as important as the duration. According to most Americans, stress plays a major factor in our lack of Z's. The top of the worry list, financial troubles. More than 55% of us experience severe stress throughout the day, particularly right before bed. Finding it difficult to set aside a full 8-hour rest? Well, here's a solution. Take a quick nap during the day. Sleeping just 25 minutes increases brain function and overall health. You'll be in good company. Famous nappers include Winston Churchill, who actually kept a bed in Parliament so he can enjoy 2 hours midday of rest daily. Leonardo da Vinci, also a famous lover of naps. Da Vinci would sleep 15 minutes every 4 hours so he could work round the clock on his projects. Perhaps the most famous lover of sleep was Albert Einstein. The genius would also snooze more than 10 hours a night, also taking micro naps throughout the day. Einstein would hold a spoon or pencil while napping, believing it would stop him from dozing too deeply. But here's something interesting. What's keeping us up at night is largely avoidable. Doctors advise refraining from using your smartphones at least 1 hour before bedtime, Abstain from watching TV while in bed, and don't eat anything right before you go to sleep. So have a nice rest. We all need it. Back in a moment. Mortgage rates remain near 2-year lows, meaning now is a great time to make your move. And I know just the people to help you. My friends at American Financing. They're a family-owned national mortgage banker with salary-based mortgage consultants, helping listeners like you for more than 20 years. They design custom home loans with no upfront fees, and they can access any loan in the industry. So whether it's your goal to buy a home or refinance to a lower rate, they can help, possibly saving you thousands of dollars or more each month. It just takes 10 minutes to start, evenings, weekends, whenever. So buy a home or refinance to better terms now while rates remain low. They won't stay this way forever, you know that. 888-462-9557. 888-462-9557. Or online at AmericanFinancing.net. American Financing, NMLS 182334. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Thank you for listening to the O'Reilly Update. I am Bill O'Reilly. No spin, just facts, and always looking out for you.
It's time for Reason.
That's the nature of the beast right now, so let's talk about conservatism, because we can win when we talk about the ideas. And people can't argue with it, because we win on platform when we actually argue the platform, rather than go into these rhetorical bumper sticker type arguments.
You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
It's been a long time coming. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, buddy. Hey, welcome into the Voice of Reason. It's hour number 2 of the Voice of Reason, broadcasting live out of the heart of the nation here in Wichita, Kansas, on the Big Talker, 1480 on the AM side, 102.5 on the FM side, KQAM. We are simulcasting all over social media. Hey, do me a favor. We're still fighting the algorithm jazz because, you know, that's social media. They hate conservatives. They hate Republicans. They want to censor you. They want to follow you. So if you have a social media account, jump onto YouTube.com, go to KQAM Radio, and share the link. If you're on Facebook, go to Facebook.com, find the Voice of Reason page, find the KQAM page, share it onto your own page, like it, you know, say hi on the live feed, and we appreciate that very much because we are fighting that each and every day the way we love to do so, because that's what we do on a daily basis. Welcome into the Voice of Reason, broadcasting live here, 316-721-8255, 316-721-TALK on the Shocker Pools hotlines on a Monday. Oh, yeah. Getting ready, setting the tone for today, for the whole week, getting back from vacation, feeling all nice and tan, baby. You know, I can look like a Hollywood star or something. That's funny.
Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here.
Hey, welcome in, 316-721-8255, 316-721-TALK. This portion of the Voice of Reason is brought to you by Cheney Door. Garage door trouble? Don't worry. Visit CheneyDoor.com. We've got a handle on your ups and downs. CheneyDoor.com. Again, CheneyDoor.com. Make sure and check them out if you have any issues. Don't be stuck outside, especially in this crazy heat, man. I heard that we're supposed to get a little bit of a cooler wave. It was nice waking up this morning. It was so hot yesterday. We drove all day. We got back from town, which thank you for the safe travel messages. It was great. It was a fun trip. And we drove in the heat all day yesterday. We got back in the afternoon. And even though I think the temperature degree-wise is a little bit cooler here, it seemed hotter here than Ohio, and I don't know why. It was a little weird. So we got out, and it was trying to unload everything. We got the rental car back, and we were just sweating bullets. And of course the house, because we turned off everything for the last 4 days, was like 95 degrees in the house, so cranked up the AC trying to get that cooled down, and then we let that run all night. So I walk out this morning and it feels awesome. It was like 60 degrees. It was fantastic. So I turned off the AC, I opened up the windows, and then, hey, let the natural air come out. But now we're back up in the mid-80s. Now it's just hot again. But boy, oh boy, it was kind of nice being able to get a little bit of a refresher this morning. walking outside. So anyways, thanks global warming. And Al Gore, you've done us a great service, and I appreciate all your heat weather and fantastic hotness that happens every summer, because that only happens because of climate change, not because of the fact that it's like summertime. I love the news. If you listen to the morning news, what was it? The America in the Morning that we do, First Light in the 5 o'clock hour in the morning, they were doing the updates. They're like, oh yeah, they have the nice cool areas, and people are giving out water, and people giving out fans. Certain companies are giving out fans, and it's really hot, and people don't know how to deal with it because it's crazy heat wave and it's unnatural. And I'm just thinking, it's summertime. Summertime, the thing where we go on the beach and we hang out and it's really hot and everybody gets sunburnt and you try and stay inside, and then you go outside and protest and get like heat stroke because you're really not so bright, and that's the time of year it is. But apparently now it's just because of climate change. Don't worry, you only got 12 more years of it, and according to AOC, we're all going to die anyway, so whatever. It's cool. Let's go to the phones here, shall we? We got a lot to get to. We got Trish Heilman coming up at 1 o'clock. We have some Kansas economy. Where is that looking? The size of the government in Kansas. We have some new candidates as well. Plus, I want to get to this Bernie Sanders thing because I find it absolutely hysterical. So we'll cover that in just a minute as well. But with that, let's go to the phones and take some calls, shall we? Line number 1. Good afternoon. Who's this?
Scott.
Hey, Scott. What's going on, sir?
Well, Jeff Longwell has not done anything to bring in any new businesses or promote any new jobs. And, I think his time has ran out. He needs to step down just like the Puerto Rican governor.
Well, he's not going to step down. The election's in just a couple of months. He won't step down, and he is running for re-election. It's just whether enough people feel the way you do and vote him out of office.
Well, yeah, he definitely needs to bail out because he's not done anything to promote any economic growth in Wichita. And but he has promoted pedophilia in the public libraries. Now, maybe there's some people out there who like that, but most of us don't agree with pedophilia. And I don't think this mayor is right for Wichita, because Wichita's got enough problems, and they don't need a guy like that in their office.
Well, I wouldn't go so far as saying that he's for pedophilia. I mean, he really didn't have anything to do with the library issue. That was the library board that said they wanted to put on the event. Now, I'm with you in saying that we shouldn't be advocating for that in any way, shape, or form. And I really would have liked to have seen maybe the city council shut it down and be like, no, that needs to be a private event at a private venue if you choose to do something like that. But we're not going to have something like that, meaning the drag queen reading hour for children in our public libraries. We're not going to accept something like that because that's not how we want to be represented as a public library and as a city and what we're promoting. So if they wanted to do it off-site, that's fine. But the mayor, the mayor didn't have anything to do with it.
Let me say that. The mayor had a program, I think it was Channel 8, they said, ask the mayor. And his representative on there did say that he thought it was a progressive thing and that we have to get used to this idea, new ideas. So, it seemed like the mayor did have a positive spin on this pedophilia. It seemed like he was agreeing with it, according to the representative he had on that show. So
that is interesting. I cannot verify, so I want to listen to that. But that's a very interesting comment, and you're right. He's right. It's a very progressive thing. Now, whether we're supposed to get used to that or not, that's not going to go over well with a large constituency in the area. We are still in the Bible Belt. We still have a lot of very conservative religious individuals, and that is crossing the line. And we saw states like Ohio. Coincidentally, I saw that while I'm in Ohio, that the state of Ohio actually banned the children being part of the drag queen reading hours. They still allow the drag queen reading hours, but there's many of them now that are allowing children to go up and dress as drag queens and perform in front of the audience. And the state of Ohio has banned that. So is that a step that we need to take here in the state of Kansas? I don't know. I don't know how big this is actually going to get in the state, but I don't like the fact that it was in our public. Here's the thing. I don't like that it was done by the people running the public library. If it was a private organization that said, can we use the facility? And they say, well, it's a public facility, so go for it. We can't do anything about it. That's a different story. But having it hyped up, endorsed by the head of the library saying, hey, we want to bring people in. This is what we want to do and how we want to do it. I find the little
part
troubling.
of a new world globalist agenda, what it is.
Well, it's troubling, and it does attack values. It does attack the traditionality of the family values and what we believe in majoritively here in the state. Now, is that saying that we're closed-minded? No, you can believe and do whatever you want to do, but being endorsed by essentially city employees as running the public library, I have a problem with that. And I think that the city council should have come out instead of saying, well, that's a new progressive thing, that's really cool, of saying, you know what, you really don't need to be backing this as a city employee and as someone running a public entity like a library.
Pedophilia leads to white slavery too.
Wait a second. Pedophilia leads to white slavery? I've not heard that one.
Yes. White slavery is, as you know, it is a sex type slavery where you're putting someone in slavery as a sex object. And so when you have, just like this Epstein guy, basically that's what he was running. Was white slavery. He was getting young kids to do things to older men, and they were basically forced to do that. So that's what it leads to.
Sure. Well, I mean, anytime that you parade children up there with limited garments of clothing and thinking that they're really cute in doing so like that, dressed up in drag, that is not only is it sickening and it could potentially be labeled as slavery, as you mentioned, but it's just wrong altogether. And for the fact that we've gone almost to that point here in our community, even in Wichita, Kansas, where it's a Bible Belt area, then that's troubling to me. So, Scott, I appreciate it very much. And look, speaking of the mayor, we are going to have the mayor on later on this week in the program. I want to say Thursday or Friday. He hasn't confirmed with me yet, but we're going to get him on to talk about the campaign and chat with him. So that may be a question. Be like, hey, and maybe that's a question we asked during the candidate forum is should that be those type of events? Should that be publicly endorsed by city employees and by the library, or should they be kept to private entities and private groups doing their thing? Look, if it's a private group, all for it. I won't attend, but all the power to you if that's what you choose to do with that group and with that community. But it's being endorsed by the city, endorsed by the public library, hosted by the public library, calling them and saying, hey, can you do this? We want to bring people in. Then to me, that's an issue, and I don't like to see that. So I think that's where we draw the line. And you know what? I think we will ask that when it comes to the city, because I think that is a really important issue. So I appreciate it. It's very much, Scott. 316-721-8255. It's actually kind of odd that that's a topic that is happening in a city like Wichita, and with so many candidates that are running. And again, I'm not going to verify one way or the other what the mayor or the representative of the mayor said on the TV program. I did not see that, but I want to look at it. Because if that is a statement that was made of being more progressive and we need to learn to accept those sorts of things, then that, I don't know, will go over very well with a lot of constituents. Maybe it will go over well. I don't know. So that's fascinating to me. 316-721-8255. By the way, we do have a new candidate coming up, so let's get into a Kansas update here.
Today in Kansas.
All right, I'm ready.
So we have a rumor, tweet behind the scenes. I don't know if I'm supposed to say anything or not, but in the next few days, we're getting an announcement of an official candidate, someone who's been teasing and been talking about it for a while for the run for the Kansas U.S. Senate seat, and that's Susan Wagle. And she's been hinting about it. We've had her on the show about a month or two ago talking about her potential run. And we heard rumor that she may be making an announcement in the next day or two. She's going to be on the show with us on Thursday, so we can get the official announcement there. As you know, we already have Chris Kobach that's officially announced. We've had Jake LaTurner that's officially announced as well. We also have some other candidates potentially, Wayne Cartman, Roger Marshall, Congressman, and a few others as well. But there's a new one that popped up as of just a day or two ago, and this one hat tip to the Hutchinson News. But Kansas native Brian Pruitt, who was a writer for the website redstate.com. If you know what Red State is a very conservative website. It's like more conservative than most websites. It's like over there with like near Alex Jones, not like crazy conspiracy Alex Jones, but like more conservative. Red State, very, very conservative website, and a commentator and a writer for redstate.com for the website, and he is exploring a bid for the U.S. Senate seat in Kansas for 2020. According to the story, Republican U.S. Senator Pat Roberts isn't running for the fifth term, and Pruitt was born, reared in North Wichita, graduated from Wichita's North High School, and moved away for college, and then coming back here. At Red State, he wrote off and on, but as a director, he did organizational work behind the scenes, and now the sole proprietor for a consulting business, and described himself politically as a constitutional conservative. So another conservative jumping into the race. I don't know if this is beneficial or not. I mean, congrats, and I hope he runs because that's awesome. Anybody can run as they want to. But we're loading the stack with a lot of conservatives that are running for this seat. And is that going to hurt or help the chances of a conservative actually getting the nomination with this Brian Pruitt, who's exploring, hasn't announced, but exploring, who works for Red State, a very constitutional conservative. We have Chris Kobach, a staunch conservative that's going to be running. We have Jake LaTurner, that's a solid conservative that's going to be running. We have potentially Matt Schlapp, that's going to be a solid conservative that's going to be running, or potentially going to be running. Then we have a little bit more on the moderate side, I'd say, with maybe a Susan Wagle, who's conservative, moderate-ish. We have Roger Marshall, who's a little bit more on the moderate side if he ends up running. We have another conservative, Wink Hartman, that potentially could be jumping in. We could have maybe 5 or 6 actual conservative candidates, maybe 2 or 3 moderate candidates. Is that going to help or hurt the race? And who could slip in by the end of the day if everybody jumps into this? It's getting interesting, but I'm almost getting fearful that we have too many conservatives and then a few moderates that could run away with this if they get united with some of the moderate votes in the state. I don't know which direction this is going to go. I like the idea of conservatives running. I want many conservatives to run. I just don't want to lose our chance by dividing ourselves too thinly with too many conservative candidates. But all the power to him. Brian Pruitt, 47 years old, and editor and director for Red State, and now a consultant and a constitutional conservative, potentially jumping into the race for the U.S. Senate seat here in Kansas. Where this goes, only know round and round we go. Where she stops, nobody knows. Because that's about where we're at right now. We'll see what happens. Bottom of the hour news coming up. Stay here for the Voice Reason on KQAM.
Here's the latest from the KQAM News Center. President Trump will be meeting with the Prime Minister of Pakistan as the U.S. hopes to end the longest war in American history, the fighting in Afghanistan.
We're not fighting a war. If we wanted to fight a war in Afghanistan and win it, I could win that war in a week. I just don't want to kill 10 million people.
Trump says Pakistan could have done a lot to end the fighting in Afghanistan, but didn't because it didn't respect the U.S. California's Attorney General Javier Becerra is pleased with his $600 million settlement with Equifax over a 2017 hack that exposed the private data of 150 million people. Democratic Representative Rashida Tlaib of Michigan has vowed to hold her ground in a speech in Detroit responding to the president's attacks on 4 Democratic congresswomen known as the Squad. Tlaib says that she is not going anywhere until she impeaches the president. On Wall Street, the Dow is up about 10 points. I'm Mike Moss.
Youth vaping is a serious problem. One issue, flavored vapor products that help adult smokers switch, but may also appeal to youth. To address it, Juul Labs stopped the sale of non-tobacco and non-menthol-based flavored Juul pods to over 90,000 traditional retail stores. Learn more about Juul Labs' efforts to combat youth vaping at juul.com/youth-prevention. Juul Labs, for adult smokers only. Paid for by Juul Labs.
At Walgreens, we know that your day doesn't stop for diabetes. So when you've got places to go and people to see, count on Walgreens every day to get expert diabetes advice 24/7. Find all major brands of testing supplies like Walgreens True Metrics in-store and online. And download tools to help you stay on track, like our 5-star mobile app with Pill Reminder. At Walgreens, we are your diabetes go-to. Stop by and talk to your pharmacist today. Walgreens, trusted since 1901.
Mid-America Network News. Authorities are trying to identify a man whose body was pulled from the Missouri River in northeast Kansas. The St. Joseph News Press reports the body was recovered yesterday morning near Atchison after a jogger spotted it floating in the water. Police Chief Mike Wilson said the body had been in the water for more than a day. A pathologist is trying to determine the cause and the circumstances of the man's death. More information will be released later about the description of the person. A female mechanic has filed a lawsuit accusing her former freight yard employer of sexual harassment, discrimination, and retaliation. The lawsuit, filed July 12th, says the woman's supervisor and co-workers at Moore Freight Service regularly harassed and demeaned her by calling her derogatory names. The lawsuit says the harassment just got worse after the woman complained to Human Resources and that she was fired less than 2 weeks after she filed that complaint. I'm Stephanie Austin.
Hurry into the Ford Hurry Up and Save sales event and get 20% estimated savings on select Ford SUVs. Plus, earn complimentary maintenance through Ford Pass Rewards. Modem must be activated within 60 days of purchase through the Ford Pass app on a smartphone and remain active for at least 6 months after activation. Eligible on select 2019 model year vehicles. Vehicle must have arrived at dealer at least 61 days prior to the sale date. Estimated savings include an average dealer discount based on a sales survey of average discounts offered by Ford dealers nationally. Discount may vary. Dealer determines price. For all offers, take new retail delivery from an authorized Ford dealer stock by 9/3/19. See participating dealer for complete details.
Now this important message from Continental Truck Accessories at 6701 South Broadway.
Hi, I'm Bob Shippers.
And I'm Terry Mishak. We're the owners of Continental Truck Accessories.
Stop by our showroom at 6701 South Broadway and we'll help you customize your truck or SUV. Choose from a large selection of floor mats, toppers, lids, bed covers, Nerf bars, grill guards, and other accessories. Continental Truck Accessories is the exclusive Wichita dealer for guarded spray-on bed liners.
Show your truck all the love it will ever need from Continental Truck Accessories.
The ultimate golf experience is at Willow Bend Golf Club in Wichita. Our people make the difference, and you can tell when you look over the course. With single-member packages available, young executive memberships, collegiate memberships, and student memberships, we truly offer something for everyone. Willow Bend Golf Club, a private club with a personal touch. Call today about becoming a member at 316-636-4653. That's 316-636-GOLF, or go online to willowbendgolfclub.com.
Here's your latest forecast on the Big Talker, KQAM. Sunny skies this afternoon, high today of 83, gusty winds up to 26 miles per hour. Mostly clear tonight, more gusty winds at 21 miles per hour, overnight low of 61. Sunny tomorrow, high near 82. Wednesday, sunny with a high near 84. I'm Rich Summers, and that's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker AM 1480 and 102.5 FM KQAM.
At 12:35, it's currently 83 degrees.
Catholic Mass, live from the Cathedral in downtown Wichita, Sunday mornings at 8:30 on KQAM. It's time for Reason.
There's a difference between natural growth of the economy and artificial growth of the economy. If you tax higher, then obviously there's a higher rate and you're going to get more money. But are you really growing the economy? No, you're just squeezing the same people more. You're squeezing the apple a little bit tighter to try and drain a little bit more juice out of that same apple, as opposed to having 4 new apples to be able to squeeze juice out of and be able to get more juice from them.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Allegedly, but we like high tax rates, we like high regulation, we like all that good jazz. Welcome into the Voice of Reason, 35 minutes past the hour. Great to have you today on the ride for a Monday, making things happen, doing the thing each and every day. 316-721-8255, 316-721-TALK on the Shocker Poll hotlines. We can hear from you. Open lines for the last half hour of our number dose here on the Voice of Reason. Here's what I absolutely love. I love seeing stories like this when it makes the the political opponents, because that's what it's all about, making them look silly, making them look like hypocrites. And that's really what happened over the last few days. As first I see the story that Bernie Sanders is not paying the staff $15 minimum wage that he wants businesses to pay. Now, of course, there's going to be some that come out and say, well, Andy, there's a difference between a nonprofit campaign based on what you get with donations and a business that runs in the private sector. There's a big difference. People make their living off of working at businesses. Problem is, many people make their living off of working on campaigns as well. How many people, if you've ever worked on a campaign, then you know this. If you haven't, I highly encourage you just to experience it one time. Like, be a volunteer, be actually part of the campaign, be the campaign manager. If you get involved in that, be the treasurer, be involved some way. Like, just try it once, one time, just to experience it. You realize now, then, depending on what level, if you're like state representative and you're helping them out, they usually they get paid a little bit to help out, but not much. But if you're like helping out, let's say one of the members running for the U.S. Senate here in Kansas, if you're running for one of them, then you stop everything in your life and you are now political 100%. You are helping campaign, you're putting up signs, you're making phone calls, you're getting donors, you're working with the candidate, you're traveling around everywhere. If you're on the staff of, that is your entire life. Now, how do you make a living? You make the living based on what you get paid for that. And when they drop out and they lose, then you're out of a job. So that is your livelihood. So running a campaign and hiring people to be your campaign manager or work on your campaign staff is like running a business. It really is. Especially for those who take it serious and do this as a full-time gig. Because then what they do, there's a lot of people in politics, and this is where politics get really messed up, is that there are a lot of people who don't really care about the ideology. You know, people that do the marketing, people that do the consulting, they don't care what political side of the aisle they're on. If they get hired to do a job to help a candidate get elected, they will find a way to do it regardless of what they stand for. They don't care. They'll bounce around from a Republican to a Democrat, and as a consultant, which is a job, if I didn't do radio, this is what I would love to do personally, but I would stick more to, a little bit more of a principled approach to this. But many of them, they don't care. Okay, this is how you appeal to the crowd. This is how you kiss the baby properly. This is the kind of photo op you have to do. This is what you have to talk about. They don't care what it is. They just care about getting a job and getting a paycheck and then helping that candidate get elected. There are those people. For those of you who don't follow politics a lot, there are those people. So let's imagine now that you're working on a campaign and you are ideologically driven. You're about it. You're volunteering. You want to work for the campaign. You're working all over the country. You're working in a certain state. You are running the headquarters for the Bernie Sanders for President campaign. And he's on the campaign trail and you're getting paid $10 an hour because you know what? You're kind of a volunteer, but you're helping out. So kudos. We appreciate it very much because we're on a string campaign here. We're getting donations from unions. We're getting donations from left-wing progressives. We're going to do this thing. And he's on the campaign trail saying that businesses better pay $15 an hour. And it's not going to run businesses out of business. And it's not going to actually drive out the entry-level positions. It's just going to make the business pay more. Because their business, they're the rich and elite. They have to pay their fair share, right? They have to pay their fair share in taxes. They need to take care of their employees. They can afford it, whether it's a large corporation or a tiny little business. They can afford it. They have to pay the $15 an hour minimum wage, and it will in no way, shape, or form affect the entry-level position, the people that are qualified to get the job, or even eliminating the job to, have robots take the place. It won't affect any of that. We'll still have the burger flippers at McDonald's. They're just going to get $15 an hour. Yeah, sure. Well, as he's saying that, you're a staffer working for Bernie Sanders. And you're sitting there and you're making the signs and you're making phone calls and you're doing so. And you start realizing, wait a second. How come I'm not getting $15 an hour minimum wage? Wait a second. I'm not getting that. He's not paying me that. So you make a comment. Hey, you're campaigning for $15 an hour minimum wage and you're not paying me that. Now, you could take it two ways. You could say, well, it's because it's really tight. We're not getting a lot of donations. It's a nonprofit thing. Yeah. If you do that, then you openly acknowledge that many businesses are in that same boat and cannot afford it as well. They're a mom and pop shop. They're a mom and pop restaurant. They can only pay a little bit, but we're on a shoestring. And we only get money to pay you when we get consumers to come in and buy our goods. And consumers are not going to come in and buy our goods when the price is really high because we're paying you more, and then we market ourselves outside of the market value. So it's not going to work. Sorry, not going to happen. He could take that approach, but then he would look foolish because that's what he's doing with his campaign. We can only pay you when we get donations coming in and we keep the campaign going. And if that doesn't work, then sorry, I can't pay you that much. Or I have to start cutting some of you because I can't afford you. He's proving his own point. Or he's proving our point for us without us even saying anything because he's not bright enough to understand that. He's saying, I'm a campaign. I don't have enough money. I'm not going to pay you $15 an hour until, and I thought this was a joke. I truly thought this was a joke when I saw it. I thought it was a satire piece. I thought it was a spoof. But then I see the headline today on Fox News on the website that Bernie Sanders has now given his staffers $15 an hour minimum wage, but cut back their hours because he can't afford them. Because he can't afford them working the same hours that they were doing at the $15 an hour instead of whatever he was paying them beforehand. I truly thought that was a spoof, it was a satire, and it was a joke. But it's not. They write the jokes for us.
We did it! We did it! We did it! Yay!
It's like a late night comedy show, the Late Late Show that had David Letterman or Craig Ferguson with the Late Late Show after that. And it's like one of those where the jokes write themselves. We don't even have to poke fun at them or do something satirical in order to make a point because they do it for us. He can't pay $15 an hour minimum wage. The staffers complain. You're campaigning saying that's what you want to happen, yet you're not doing it, so you're really like a hypocrite. Okay, I'm going to give you the $15 an hour minimum wage, but now I'm going to cut back your hours. So that's only helping us because he's looking like a fool, because he's proved that small business that depends on, revenue coming in can't afford this kind of thing, and that when they are forced to do so because he got heat for it, then he cuts back the hours, so now they're still making the same amount of money but with less. And not only that, but now he's in a campaign with staffers that are working less hours for him. How is that going to help his campaign? Now he has less people on the streets for a least amount of time, and now he's going to struggle to find more people to do the work. Unless he asks them to volunteer. Oh, wait a second. Giving up, if he's going to ask them to volunteer and donate their time, then why pay staffers in the first place, right? Why not just ask for donations? Why not just ask for the donated time? Just come in, do the donated time, and then leave because you're going to feel really good about yourself. It's about the commune feel, right? And don't worry, don't get me wrong, you get a lot of volunteers working on campaigns. That's what college Republicans are for. That's what the young kids are for. That's what people who actually are passionate and care about these things are for, to come in, you buy them some pizza, you say, hey, make 100 phone calls for me, and just say, hey, remember to go and vote. Hey, you got an hour, put on a t-shirt and go knock on someone's door for a while in a community and in a little block square, whatever, and talk to some people and say, go vote for this person. People volunteer all the time, but the actual paid staffers that make decisions to cut their hours back is detrimental to a campaign. It's horrible. You can't do that unless you hire more people on or you give them the same amount of time. And now you got money coming out, and now you can't afford it. But guess what? Welcome to the real world. Welcome to the party, pal. That's what businesses have to deal with every day. And they're the ones that are trying to tell us that if you give $15 an hour minimum wage would not kill off entry-level jobs. They're the ones that are telling us that if we raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour minimum wage, that would not limit the amount of hours that workers can have. They're the ones that tell us with a $15 an hour minimum wage would not create inflation in the nation and raise the prices of goods because the businesses are just getting less, and they're just going to have to eat that. They don't need to be rich. They don't need to be wealthy. They don't need to be successful. We just have to eat into their bottom line and pay the workers more and then just, eat it. Tell that to a small business that has maybe one or two shops around the Wichita area. Tell that to a mom-and-pop farm that's looking for help from college kids to bale hay or to harvest wheat or to harvest corn or do whatever they do, that are already struggling with commodity prices that suck. Tell that to them. See how well that works for you. AOC, Bernie Sanders, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, all these yahoos that are on the far left progressive fringe, they're burning their own house down and they're trying to blame everyone else for it, and they don't even realize it. They don't even realize. People don't even recognize the fact that they are hurting themselves, shooting themselves in the foot, and we haven't had to say a word about it. They're doing it all to themselves. With Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez saying that Nancy Pelosi is a racist, by going after Joe Biden that Kamala Harris did and saying that he's a racist, by by Bernie Sanders having 3 vacation homes, trying to spend more money, by saying that we need to pay $15 an hour minimum wage, then not even paying his staff to do it, then being forced to do it, and then cutting their hours. He's proving our point, and we haven't had to say a word about it. And ladies and gentlemen, this is why President Donald J. Trump is going to win re-election in 2020, because they don't have a platform that makes any sense to anybody, and even people that try to get on the bandwagon to support it have a hard time defending what the heck they're actually doing, because they're looking like fools. Got to take a break. Wrapping up hour number 2 right here on The Voice of Reason. Stay tuned.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier on the Big Talker KQAM.
Market information, Mid-America Ag Network. We continue to see struggles for corn, soybeans, And Kansas City wheat grain inspections for exports not near what had been anticipated and hoped for. So that's one of the issues that we're dealing with, among several others. And so we're watching some struggles here today. September corn down 9 at 421 3/4. December down 9.5 at 426 1/4. September Kansas City wheat down 10.5 at 429.5. December down 10 3/4 at 449. All three wheat markets looking at losses. Chicago and Kansas City talking about double-digit losses. August soybeans down 12 3/4 at 888 3/4. September beans down 13 at 894 1/4. Double-digit losses the remainder of the way there. Too. August soybean meal down $2.80 at 308.40. September down $2.90 at 309.60. August soy oil 32 points lower at 27.78. September down 31 at 27.89. So nothing positive in the soy complex. Corn and Kansas City wheat having some issues here on Monday. Livestock numbers faring a little better. August live cattle up 67 at 108.27. October up 62 at 109.12. Later months are good. August feeder cattle up 162 at 141.60. September up 187 at 141.67. So a good, strong look for feeder cattle. Each of the back months is up by more than $1 and some by nearly $2. So very strong day so far in feeder cattle. Hogs are mixed. August hogs down 107 at 82.80. October hogs down 25 at 78.67. But then after that, things get green and stay that way through the remainder of the months. So mixed numbers, but mostly higher in the livestock complex. And cotton is doing well. October cotton 39 points higher currently at 62.64. Market information from Mid-America Ag Network.
It's at the top of the class for 2 gene Clearfield varieties in the Central Plains. It's Double Stop CL Plus, another OSU Graze and Grain and Golden Grain wheat variety. Double Stop CL Plus is widely preferred by millers. Double Stop CL Plus tunes out rye and other tough weedy grasses, and it combines high yield, test weight, resilience, and show wheat quality in one variety. Double Stop CL Plus offers a competitive canopy, is acid soil tolerant, and stripe rust resistant. Double Stop CL Plus has been affirmed by the Wheat Quality Council. Log on to okgenetics.com to learn more.
The Pro Z Series zero-turn mowers from Cub Cadet don't pull punches, they pack them. Featuring maintenance-free spindles, air-ride suspension seats, and the only 777-gauge steel deck in the industry. Designed after tens of thousands of hours by testing by pro landscapers, the Pro Z Series mowers are pro-tested and pro-approved. Visit your local Cub Cadet dealer and demo the new Pro Z Series. For expert advice, superior service, and exceptional offers, visit Trailers and More at 433 North Mays Road, 1.5 miles north of Kellogg in Wichita today.
I'm happy again. That's right. The maids are cleaning my house right now. I'm going to come home to every room clean from top to bottom. As I budget my needs versus wants, having less stress in my life knowing the maids are cleaning my house every other week is definitely a need. Go to maids.com for a virtual tour of the Maids 22-step Healthy Touch house cleaning system. Then call the maids today for a free estimate, 832-9058.
I've got better things to do.
832-9058.
Drive Home with Joe Pags. The Joe Pags Show, live at 5 on the Big Talker, KQAM.
9 minutes, the top of the hour, wrapping up hour number 2. Lots more to get to here on The Voice. We're trying to sneak it all in, man. We're trying. There's a lot of stuff going on, and we're going to break it down each and every day we can. Each and every minute we get a chance to do so. 316-721-8255. 316-721-TALK. This portion of The Voice Reason, as it always is on a Monday, brought to you by the AARP, whether it's the Fraud Watch Network, Retirement Calculator, getting involved in the community. That's the way to do it. It's the AARP. Check them out, aarp.org/KS for the state of Kansas. Marin Turner hanging out with us here on the line. Marin, good afternoon. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. It is, I heard it's going to be cooler this week. Is that true?
Well, I heard it's going to be in the 70s, although the upper 70s, but at least that's not 100 degrees.
I will take that, definitely. Last weekend, we got to chat with him, Jeff Lanza, which was really cool, former FBI member that was talking about a lot of the fraud issues. That event was last week. How did that go for the AARP?
Oh, that went very well. We really appreciated the opportunity to be able to partner with the Better Business Bureau and television station KWCH to bring Jeff Lanza here. He did a fantastic job. we were a little concerned because the weather was like in the hundreds, and we didn't know people would come out. But, you know, over 150 people came and learned a lot. I know I learned a lot. For example, I know now not to write checks if I don't have to. But if I do write them, to use a gel pen. So I learned a lot. It was great.
Really? You're supposed to use a gel pen when writing checks. Why is that?
Well, because when you use other ink pens, the bad guys can wash that ink away and then write their own check. But with a gel pen, they can't do that.
Very interesting. I had no idea. That is news
I
to me.
didn't either.
That's the kind of good information we need to know there. So, and I know a lot of people still write checks. I know that's kind of going to the wayside, but I still write checks for my utility bills and stuff. I know a lot of people still like to write them at the grocery store or something, or write checks to a friend or a family member. I mean, you still write checks quite often, even though it's going away slowly. It's still there.
It's still there, but you know what? Frank Abagnale last year, as well as this retired FBI agent, both recommended that you don't write checks if you don't have to. If you can, use a credit card instead of your debit card, and just make sure you pay it off every month. That way, you're not only building credit, but if something should happen, you can be reimbursed much better than you could if you were using a debit card or using a check. So, you know, I'm telling you, the presentation was full of great information, and it was great.
Wow,
I can't
how
say
neat.
enough about it. Yeah.
I'm so glad that went well, yeah.
Who came out. We thank everybody who came out, especially in the heat. Heard only good responses, but, you know, thank you to everybody who came out.
Absolutely. Was it a good crowd out there?
It was. We had about 150 people, and everybody had their pens and paper out and taking good notes. And so I think we converted some people into fraud fighters.
Good.
So I'm excited about that.
That's what I'm talking about. Well, fantastic. I'm glad it went really well. It's the annual event that you guys always have with a great speaker like that, and hopefully it continues on that way as well. Wrapping up the month of July, what else do you guys have going on for the AARP?
Well, we are going to continue with our coffees that we have every month. We hope people will come out and have a free coffee drink on us. We are collecting information from people in Wichita on what would make the whole community of Wichita an even better place to live. So when you come in between 10 and 11 o'clock, we'd love to talk to you. We are going to be at 3 locations, actually 4. We'll be at the Beautiful Day Cafe. That's the one 2516 East Central Avenue. We are going to be at 2 Livingston Cafe locations, the one 9747 East 21st Street North and 4733 East Douglas Avenue. And then at Want Coffee, that's at 2615 West 13th Street North. Again, you don't have to be a member. Just come in, have a cool, refreshing coffee drink or have hot coffee. But we'd love to talk to you if you're available between 10 and 11.
I love it. Very good stuff. If people want more information to reach out or to learn about some of the events coming up, how can they reach out to you guys?
They can call us at 1-866-448-3619 or log on to our website for more information at www.aarp.org/KS.
Very good. I love it. Make sure to check it out. AARP, Marion Turner, I appreciate the time very much. Enjoy the week, and we'll check in with you again next Monday.
Thanks, Andy.
There we go. Appreciate that very much. 316-721-8255 as we wrap up hour number 2. We have a lot to get to. Hour 3, when we come back, we're going to be chatting with Trish Heilman. She's with she's a candidate for school board, the at-large seat for the Wichita School Board, and we'll have fun chatting with her as we start getting into our Get to Know the Candidate.
It's time to get to know the candidate.
So we'll do that here in just a little bit. Plus, there's a piece that we'll talk about coming up as the prediction from the left as they're trying to run for president and say that Donald Trump's economy is not working for everybody, that the economic crash is coming. And if Donald Trump wins the election next year, how can he do it? According to NBC News, Trump can win the vote by even losing the popular vote by 5 million. Now, if you remember, he lost the popular vote by Hillary Clinton as well, but that was only by 2 million. He could lose by 5 million votes in the popular vote and still win because of the Electoral College. That type of headline is making the left-wing radicals go absolutely bonkers, man. Because how dare you do that? But the nation's 2 most popular states, California and Texas, are the heart of the Democrats' geography problem, and if they win the popular vote, there's going to be more. Do you think there's going to be more of a push for this whole electoral college repealing thing, banning the electoral college, doing the national popular vote? I mean, the only thing we do nationally as a election is the president of the United States, and that would always be a Democrat from there on out, which means they would have had victory. So do you think there's going to be more push for that? Colorado just signed on to be number 13 that's pushed for that national popular vote process to repeal the electoral college, to not look at them. Or what they do is they keep the electoral college, and then if the national popular vote goes one way, the electoral college in that state will throw their votes towards that candidate regardless of what their own state actually voted for, which to me is a complete violation of the way the election is supposed to be a representation of people. So that's a problem. But with 13 states already signing on and Colorado being the last one, are we moving towards that? And if we have another one or two elections where a popular vote loses based on the electoral college vote, will uneducated individuals who are completely naive and ignorant to the issue try and continue to push and this actually get over the hump of enough states wanting to make this happen? That's a cause for concern. We'll talk about that in hour number 3, along with a heck of a lot more, plus your phone calls as well. Why? Why do we do all this? Because it's your show. It's not my show, it's your show. You do it, baby. This is your show. It's time to speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason. Hour number 3, The Voice of Reason, coming up. Lots more to get to. Stay here.
Hurry into the Ford Hurry Up and Save sales event and get 20% estimated savings on select Ford SUVs. Plus, earn complimentary maintenance through Ford Pass Rewards. Moda must be activated within 60 days of purchase through the Ford Pass app on a smartphone and remain active for at least 6 months after activation. Eligible on select 2019 model year vehicles. Vehicle must have arrived at dealer at least 61 days prior to the sale date. Estimated savings include an average dealer discount based on a sales survey of average discounts offered by Ford dealers nationally. Discount may vary. Dealer determines price. For all offers, take new retail delivery from an authorized Ford dealer stock by 9/3/19. See participating dealer for complete details.
Jesse Soria of Cholita's Mexican Restaurant at Central and Tyler talks a little bit about success.
Each and every one of our customers that come in, we want them to come back. We want them to enjoy their meal. We want them to be happy. If for some reason we send you some food and let's say it doesn't taste right, let us know. I'm going to bend over backwards to take care of you. Our goal 30 years ago was to please every customer, and that is still our goal today.
Cholita's Mexican Restaurant, Central and Tyler.
This is a Steckline Communications station, K273CX, FM 102.5, and AM 1480 KQAM, Wichita Proud. It's time for your latest news from the KQAM News Center. Brought to you by Augusta Flight Center, with the largest and most diverse fleet of rental aircraft in central Kansas. Learn more at iflyaugusta.com.
I'm Stephanie Austin. Police say a Wichita restaurant owner who was shot and killed over the weekend most likely was targeted. Chuck Giles, owner of the Neighbors Bar and Grill, was found dead Friday night outside of his home near 25th and Amadon. He had been shot several times. Police Captain Brent Allred said investigators believe that Giles was targeted for robbery. The Wichita Eagle reports police believe one or more people approached Giles after he pulled into the driveway of his home and fired at him. Police are asking for the public's help in identifying a man who robbed a North Side Wichita dollar store over the weekend. The man walked into the Dollar Tree in the 2100 block of North Woodlawn around 9 p.m. Saturday and pointed a silver gun at 2 employees and demanded money and their cell phones. The employees gave the robber cash but refused to turn over their phones. The robber fled on foot and no one was injured. The robber is described as a black male in his 30s, standing about 5'7", weighing around 170 pounds. Here's Doug Downs with the sports.
When the Kansas City Chiefs start training camp tomorrow, they will have Tyreek Hill as part of their team. On Friday, the NFL found that Tyreek Hill did not violate the NFL's personal conduct policy, therefore would not receive any suspensions in this upcoming season. The Chiefs in a statement said, based on the information provided to us by the league, they've decided it is appropriate for Tyreek to return to the team at the start of training camp. The Royals got the second half of the season off to a great start, but fell back to their old ways over the weekend and winning just one on the road against Cleveland. The Royals lost yesterday 5-4. From the KGSO Sports Desk, I'm Doug Downs.
Hello. Although I am a registered Democrat voter, I am supporting Mark Geeton for mayor of Wichita for many reasons. Mark's organization, the Kansas Coalition for Life, helps abortion-bound mothers with last resort financial assistance by enabling many young mothers just like me to keep their child by providing options that weren't available to them before. Mark and I want to make Wichita a sanctuary city for the unborn, and I hope that you support us in this effort. I also support Mark's efforts to clean up Wichita's water and to fix or replace all of the bad sidewalks in the poor neighborhoods of Wichita. Over the years, it has never seemed to matter to Mark that I'm a Democrat. Facts and ideas matter to him more than party labels, and he has always kept his word. Please vote for Mark Gietzen for mayor of Wichita on August 6th.
My name is Mark Gietzen, and I approve this message. Remember to vote on August 6th.
This ad paid for by Mark Gietzen for mayor.
If you wear eyeglasses or just getting your first pair, did you know there's an eyewear shop that has 45 years of experience? Kent and Roxy Spectacle Shop has been framing faces for over 4 decades. The Spectacle Shop has hundreds of frames, including the exciting exclusive lines of Woo, Roger, and LA Eyeworks, and the State brand made right here in the USA. Your lenses? Kent and Roxy take seriously the quality and precision of your corrected eyesight. Be independent, take a bold step for optical freedom, come see the difference for yourself. Visit Kent and Roxy Spectacle Shop, 306 North Rock Road, Wichita.
The latest news from the Big Talker, KQAM.
President Trump will be meeting with the Prime Minister of Pakistan as the U.S. hopes to end the longest war in American history, the fighting in Afghanistan.
We're not fighting a war. If we wanted to fight a war in Afghanistan and win it, I could win that war in a week. I just don't want to kill 10 million people.
Trump says Pakistan could have done a lot to end the fighting in Afghanistan, but didn't because it didn't respect the U.S. California's Attorney General Javier Becerra is pleased with his $600 million settlement with Equifax over a 2017 hack that exposed the private data of 150 million people. Democratic Representative Rashida Tlaib of Michigan has vowed to hold her ground in a speech in Detroit responding to the president's attacks on 4 Democratic congresswomen known as the Squad. Tlaib says that she is not going anywhere until she impeaches the president. On Wall Street, the Dow is up about 10 points. I'm Mike Moss.
Market information, Mid-America Ag Network. A tough day so far. Corn, soybeans, Kansas City wheat really struggling. KC wheat bumped up just a bit right after the open, but things got ugly after that. September Kansas City wheat down 10 at 430. December down 10.5. 449 1/4. September corn down 8 1/4. 422 1/2. December down 8 1/2 at 427 1/4. August soybeans down 13 1/2 at 888 1/4. September down 13 1/4 at 894. Bean meal, bean oil are both lower too. In terms of the livestock complex, things look a little better there. August live cattle up 65 at 108.25. Back months are all good. August feeder cattle up 160 at 141.57. Once again, all the later months are up, and those are up by more than $1, so a good day there. The early contracts on hogs are down, but everything else is up. August hogs down 85 at 83.02. October down 15 at 78.77, but the back months are all green. Markets from Mid-America Ag Network.
Your local weather on KQAM. Brought to you by Maximum Outdoor Equipment. All equipment outdoors, from lawnmowers to snowblowers. Just south of Kellogg on West Street and online at MaximumOutdoor.com.
Here's your latest forecast on the Big Talker, KQAM. Sunny skies this afternoon, high today of 83, gusty winds up to 26 miles per hour. Mostly clear tonight, more gusty winds at 21 miles per hour, overnight low of 61. Sunny tomorrow, high near 82. Wednesday, sunny with a high near 84. I'm Rich Summers, and that's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker AM 1480 and 102.5 FM KQAM.
At 106, it's currently 83 degrees.
News, weather, and sports right here on the Big Talker, KQAM.
It's time for Reason.
That's the nature of the beast right now, so let's talk about conservatism, because we can win when we talk about the ideas. And people can't argue with it, because we win on platform when we actually argue the platform, rather than go into these rhetorical bumper sticker type arguments.
You're listening to the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
It's been a long time coming.
And welcome into the Voice of Reason. Great to have you along for the ride today. It's hour number 3, broadcasting live out of the heart of the nation here in Wichita, Kansas, on the Big Talker, 1480 on the AM side, 102.5 on the FM side, KQAM. We are simulcasting all over social media, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Tweety Live. I don't know. We're all over the place. Go and check them out. Make sure to, shoot us messages and say hi. We'd love to hear from you on there, especially after the whole algorithms and Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg not liking us too much. But, hey, we do what we can. So appreciate you hanging out here. 316-721-8255 on a Monday morning as we set the tone today, not only for today but for the whole week, trying to get you up and going, doing the thing the way we do each and every week, because that's what we do here on The Voice of Reason, shall we?
Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started. Let's get it started.
Yeah, buddy. 316-721-8255. 316-721-TALK on the Shocker Pools hotlines. We'd love to hear from you today as we run through a lot of the headlines. This portion of The Voice Reason is brought to you by Cheney Door. Garage door trouble? Make sure to visit CheneyDoor.com. We've got the handle and all your ups and downs and more. I may have to call. I've told you this, and I haven't had a chance to do it yet, but my garage door squeaks every time it goes up and down, and I don't like that. So WD-40, baby. But if that don't work, then it's going to be CheneyDoor.com. CheneyDoor.com. Make sure to check them out. All right, let's get into it. We have limited time, and I love talking with, as you know, and hat tip to everybody who is aware of this. For those of you that don't know, August 6th is a primary election, and next year is the big election I know everybody's been focused on. But when we talk about elections and we talk about activism, when we talk about the local engagement, this is the time you do it, because school boards, mayor, city councils, that's the stuff that affects us on the home front. So with that, getting into election season, let's get to one of our first candidates on the show.
It's time to get to know the candidate.
There we go. And for our first candidate in studio with us here, I'm really excited to have on, from the at-large district for the Wichita School Board, it's Trish Heilman hanging with us. Trish, how are you today?
Good, Andy. How are you?
Hey, very good. I appreciate you coming in here. This is such an interesting election, an important election, because obviously, with the school funding issue we see at the state level, and with how important education funding is that we hear about all the time, and then we never seem to focus it on the local school boards and what's happening locally. It's all what's going on in Topeka and all the craziness up there. But you guys, obviously, you're the ones that are on boots on the ground making this all happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Our local school board sets the budget. $760 million is our Wichita school board budget. That is 11%, 10 to 11% of our total state school spending is right here in Wichita, 259. So that is bigger than our city budget by $100 million, bigger than our county budget by $200 million, and we are fully volunteer. The school board is the only elected volunteer position in Kansas.
Wow.
So they are up there putting their tushes on the board and on the line every week, every month, for our kids, for our schools, and it's really important. But they have a huge job, and we need to make sure that we've got the best of the best sitting in those seats.
Sure, absolutely. And now talk about, first off, before we get into the campaign, about the districts and the representatives themselves. There are 6 districts.
Correct.
And then an at-large that covers the entire district, correct?
Exactly. So they're all geographic districts. There's sort of 3, it's sort of 2 up north, 2 down, 3 down, whatever. It's 6 different geographics.
Sure.
2 is the full east side. So it's all sort of split up into areas of town. And then each of those, you have to live in one of each of those groups to represent that district. But still, in the general election, all of the city of Wichita votes for those positions. So you will see on your ballot at the general election all the districts that are up for election.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Now, this one is the at-large position, and the current incumbent, Cheryl Logan, which I believe is going to be coming on the show probably next week as well. She'll be joining, but she's the current incumbent. Talk about the duties, as you mentioned, some of the duties as a board member, getting in there, what you'd be focusing on, what you want to try and get done with the Wichita City Schools.
I want to make sure, and I want to increase our connection as a city to our schools, to our school board. Our school board makes a lot of really important decisions on curriculum, on policy, on budget, on what you pay teachers. That's the school board, staff, all that kind of stuff. And so, but what our school board has not done a great job, in my opinion, in doing is really connecting and having those conversations with Wichita.
Sure.
So I have been in charge of, for the last 4 or 5 years, under Joy Akins to start with, she was the school board member in my area, of having parent groups, community groups, talk with the school board member bi-monthly, quarterly kind of thing. So you can have those back and forth questions and answers, and let me find out about that. And that kind of just really good connected conversations. I want to have that for all of Wichita.
Sure.
I've offered to help set those up for other board members, but they're volunteers, so I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to get out there and connect with Wichita businesses, families, parents.
Sure. Has it been difficult for the school board to get out and do more transparency, to talk about a lot of the issues, or allow many parents or students to actually have a say or at least understand what's going on? Has that been kind of an issue that we've heard of lately?
Well, it's one of those, to be honest, it is hard to get people engaged in school board. People are,
Sure.
It's like a nebulous, what do they do anyway?
Right.
People don't attend school board meetings in general unless they're coming to complain. So it's, or advocate. Tonight, there's going to be a group of people advocating. And so, yeah, it's not something that's easy to get a crowd rallied around. It's
true. Yeah.
School board doesn't spend a whole lot of money, except for 73% of our whole budget is people.
Yeah.
We're a very people-intensive business. And I would love it if the teachers, if the staff of our schools really got out and voted. So I'd like to just put a plug in there. Right now, you can go to the courthouse now until noon, August 5. You can go to the courthouse and early vote.
Sure.
All day long. Before school starts, get her done.
Exactly. Get her done. That's what
That's
I'm
right.
saying.
Yeah.
Make sure to get out and get that vote done, because it is that important.
It
Let's
is.
talk about the district itself. Number one, when we talk about school finance, and it's been an issue obviously in Topeka,
Yeah.
and we talk about where the money goes. As you mentioned, the majority of it's going to people, and
Absolutely.
not only just teachers, but administrators. And we've seen the administration side grow so much, and then the superintendent, and then the deputy superintendents, and then all
Right.
that. I mean, is there a need to continue to grow that side, or should there be more of a focus on trying to get more teachers that are actually hands-on with the children into the school district?
Well, I think that's always going to be, that's sort of a layup question, right? We're always going to want to have people in classrooms working with students, because that's where you get your bang for your buck. That's where you make impact in students' lives, is when you have a person who's qualified and caring and able to really help students learn and grow and feel safe and develop, all that good stuff. We have seen in the last 13 years, I've got a little snapshot here for 259, we've seen a higher growth in the number of management, 24% increase in the number of managers in our district versus a 12% increase in classroom teachers. So we've seen management outstrip in growth in numbers over the last 13 years versus our classroom teachers. And that's something that, honestly, you need to have people at the school board level really digging into org charts. One of the things I've asked for as a candidate is, hey, can I have the district's org chart? And they told me that I needed to make a Cora request to get that. So, it's one of those things that this maybe should be something that people have easy access to, because that's how we can. I don't think that our district is out wasting money left and right. They're not.
Sure.
They're doing a darn good job with what they've got. Can they do it even a little bit better, a little bit more finely tuned? Yeah. If we let the citizens of Wichita into our books and really see what's going on, they'll find efficiencies for us.
Sure.
We've got some of the best companies in the world right here in Wichita, with Coke and Cargill, and I know in the past some of those companies have even offered their business acumen services, and our district has taken them up recently on some of that, sort of doing business school.
Sure.
Connectivity, trying to get some improvements going. We just need to keep going with that and keep being transparent, having discussions at the board. When we're doing 707070 votes, there's something wrong with that.
There's something wrong. Exactly.
There's something wrong with that. We need to be talking about the questions we've got, and we need to, if the answer wasn't given to a tough question, rephrase, ask again.
Sure, that's very true. Let's go into school vouchers. We've talked about that as an option when it comes to the public schools, the quality of the school, the graduation rates, test scores, all that good jazz. Vouchers. Maybe we should start intertwining with the private schools in the area. Is that a good idea? And where do many of the candidates stand on this one?
As far as I know, there's nobody running for our school board that is pro-voucher, quote unquote.
Okay.
And so my personal take on it is I want our public schools to be pro-education of all sorts. I don't think we as a district need to be bagging on private schools. We don't need to be blocking people from Heart Springs from coming in and giving us advice if they're doing so on their dime.
Sure.
We don't need to be paying over for this stuff out of our coffers, because then we're going to get poor. But if they're willing to come in and help us, then hey, let's take the community's help and assistance where we can.
Sure.
So I'm pro, and I want our board to be pro education. I don't see the benefit in general, and I am afraid, that's sort of a loaded word. I am cautious about giving our public monies to private schools because I want to protect our private schools.
Right.
When we're giving our public monies to any entity, the government is going to seek influence there. And I think we have private schools in this town that are phenomenal, that are wonderful options for parents who need them and want them and desire that for their kids. And I don't want that changed by our public monies. I think we can't. I don't think it's good for the public schools, and I don't think it's good for the private schools. So that's personally my stand.
Well, and we find kind of the happy medium-ish when it comes to magnets around the area. I mean, my daughter goes to Price Harris, goes to the magnet school, and she's about ready to start kindergarten over there. And the magnets are a little bit different, but they're still under the public school realm of the district, right?
Oh, they're absolutely. They are not magnet charters, which would be sort of the voucher kind of deal. They are public schools that give parents who they're part of the deseg plan, the desegregation plan for Wichita. So if your kid, if you don't really want them to go to the public local school that's right near you for whatever reason, because of whatever reason you have, then you can apply to have your kid go into the magnet system. It's a lottery, and that's part of the reason the whole deseg plan. They don't want to be picking and choosing and only high test grades, because then you end up getting the same kids stuck in the same situation. So that's why that's a lottery. But it's a little known fact that if your kid doesn't get chosen for those magnet slots, and you get the letter that says, 20th in line in your 3 chosen spots or whatever,
right,
you can call and say what school still has an opening. And then they don't fill up every year. So there are schools that have slots open every year, and you can request one of those slots. You can go tour the school, make sure it's a good fit for your kid, because that's, as a parent, that's what we want.
Sure.
And that's what I want. I'm a parent of 5 kids in our district. I want parents to know that they can come to the Wichita schools and get the best education in Kansas. Heck, let's go for the nation, right here in Wichita. That's what I want people to know. No more people leaving Wichita, moving to Andover, whatever, to get into those schools.
Right.
But no, you're coming into Wichita, living in Wichita, because you want your kids in 259. That's the rep that we need to build.
It really is. It really is. We're talking with Trish Heilman, candidate for Wichita School Board, coming up with the election on August 6th for the primary, going into the general election. As we got just about a minute or so wrapping up here, but and you've kind of mentioned it, but the big issues, what you really like to see change, what you'd like to fight for, and what we need to do here for the Wichita School Board, and to remind everybody to get out and vote coming up on August 6th.
I really want to see community engagement. I want to see our school board open and having transparent conversations with our community members. I want to see teachers respected in our schools. I want our local, state, national politicians to stop beating up our teachers. They're not your friendly scapegoat. We need to defend and respect our teachers, and we need to do what it takes to make that happen, and we need to then hold our schools accountable for getting the results. Let's do the things that create the outcomes that we want to see as a community, so that we have people coming out of our schools who are well-educated and show up to work on time.
Mm-hmm. I do feel bad. The teachers always seem to be, as you mentioned, kind of stuck in the middle between everything, when they're really the victims in all this. They're the ones sitting back, just, it gets handed to them that they're not going to get the pay increase, that they're getting cut, that they're getting shorter hours, whatever the case. They're almost the victims when it comes to the whole politics behind education, aren't they?
Well, and I don't know, I don't think they want to be seen as victims, right?
Sure,
I mean,
sure.
they're hardworking people who are trying their best for our students. I mean, that's why most teachers are in the classroom. They want to be there to see their students succeed, and that's why they're there. We need to make sure that we are digging into the policy in the background, supporting our teachers. They're dealing with some behaviors. Kids are coming into our schools with trauma, and we're trying to do some stuff to help that at a state level, but there's more work to be done. Kids aren't coming to school from 2-parent families anymore, ready to read, write, and learn. We're needing to patch them up and get them in a place where they can take the learning,
Sure.
and that takes a lot of work, and honestly, it does take money.
Yeah, I did get one question on Facebook we'll ask right before we leave, but Common Core. Where do you stand on the Common Core education, and do we have that in the state, and where do we go from here when it comes to the standards of our education?
Yeah, Common Core was a process that was sort of rammed down states' throats, wasn't it? It was the process was not done well. Common Core in and of itself is a benchmark. It's a tape measure. It's a yardstick.
Right.
And so all of our curriculum is basically made on that Common Core standard. How we enact that curriculum, how we teach that curriculum, those are local decisions. Those are things that we can do right here, and we need to make sure that what we're teaching in our classrooms makes sense to our students and gets them the ability to do the math, to do the writing, the composition that they need. So Common Core is a yardstick, and it's being angry at the ruler is I know it's a conservative thing, and it was done wrong. It was shoved down states' throats the wrong way, and that's why everybody's got pretty bad taste in their mouth about it.
Sure.
But we just need to make sure that what's happening in our classrooms is what's best for kids, period, all day long.
If people want to reach out to you or get more information on you or the campaign, how can they reach out?
I am on Facebook at Trish Heilman. I am HeilmanICT.com is my website, and HeilmanICT at Outlook.com is my email.
Fantastic. Well, good luck, Trish Heilman, running for Wichita School Board. Good luck on the campaign. Good luck on August 6th. And if you get through to the general election, we'll be chatting again here real soon.
I look forward to it.
Hey, very good. Appreciate it. Got to take a break. 23 minutes past the hour. Open lines to you when we come back here on The Voice of Reason.
The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Game show host Alex Trebek was born on this day. And on Jeopardy, he gives contestants answers for which they must come up with the question. So, in the spirit of Jeopardy, we note, it's something made from a plastic storage box, such as those by Sterilite or Rubbermaid, that after turning over the lid and laying it upside down, you then load with young seedlings or vegetables and flowers or herbs and spices to be grown indoors, which are then covered with a large opaque plastic bottom, which is also placed upside down with air holes drilled up near the top and drain holes down in the bottom, which is actually the lid. With us so far? The answer is a nifty mini greenhouse made from a large upside-down plastic storage box that's tough, fully waterproof, filters sunlight, and is easy to open, replenish, and to clean. All for just a few dollars. Ding! We have a winner. For more tips, visit our website at onthehouse.com. Extra, extra, read all about it! The brand new edition of Home Maintenance for Dummies is hot off the presses. This new edition features the latest tips on how to tune up your home and make repairs to every part of your house, from the basement to the attic. By combining step-by-step instructions and expert information, you'll learn how to conduct routine inspections, keep major systems running smoothly, and increase energy efficiency. Home Maintenance for Dummies, second edition, written by us, the Carey Brothers, can be found at bookstores everywhere. Home Maintenance for Dummies, second edition. Look for it today and get started maintaining your home tomorrow.
Hi, it's Joe Pags. Coming up, Iran is really ratcheting up its war talk. We'll talk about why. Plus, the author of Trump and the Jews talks about Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib wanting to go to Israel. Plus, Representative Chip Roy and more on the Joe Pags Show. Today at 5 on the Big Talker, 1480 AM and 102.5 FM, KQAM.
The Joe Pags Show, weekdays at 5 on the Big Talker, AM 1480 and 102.5 FM.
Swing into summer at Wichita Public Golf Courses. It's the best value in town. Find a course for all skill levels, located conveniently throughout the city. Come meet our friendly staff and take advantage of the great deals. You can purchase a season pass to play all city courses at a reduced price. We have passes for singles, couples, and a junior pass. Don't forget, you can host your tournaments with us too. Ready to hit the greens? Just use the Golf Wichita app to schedule your tee time or visit golfwichita.com.
It's Mary from Wildwood Cellars. Our pure elderberry concentrate is especially popular this time of the year, and people ask us what makes ours so much better than the rest, and I have to say it's how we make it, so that none of the good properties of the elderberries are ever lost. Nothing is ever dehydrated, and we add nothing to it. No sugars, syrups, alcohols, additives, or preservatives, just pure concentrated elderberry with less than 1 gram of carb or sugar, so you can take it straight or add it to any juice or drink of your choice. Online at wildwoodsellars.com.
Hello, my name is Mark Gietzen, and I'm running for mayor of Wichita. I am a Marine Corps veteran, the owner of Gietzen Aerial Services, the president of the Kansas Republican Assembly, the chairman of the Kansas Coalition for Life, and a strong supporter of the Second Amendment. I love Wichita, and I want to see Wichita prosper and grow. The best way to assure a thriving community is to attract growing businesses, which in turn provide good jobs. The best way to attract and keep great businesses is to limit or reduce the tax burden on them, particularly the city portion of property taxes. I will never raise your taxes. Wichita is a beautiful city, but little things like bad sidewalks, so common in the poor neighborhoods of Wichita, could easily be fixed for a small amount of money and would add dramatically to the overall positive image of our city. Please vote Mark Gietzen for mayor on August 6th.
Your only local conservative talk show. The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier. 11 to 2 on KQAM.
All right, 28 minutes past the hour. Welcome into the Voice of Reason. Thanks again to Trish Heilman coming on the program as we talk more about the candidates in the upcoming election. Make sure to get out the vote, get out the vote, get out the vote, man. Come on. It's election season, and it's bigger than just a presidential election. This is what affects us at the local level, which has all the drastic effect on your children and on you on a daily basis. I'm telling you, politics is going back to a local level again. When you can talk about the mayor and the city council and the school board, and we have those issues, then we're under the microscope, and they look at us and they say, oh, wait a second, that's what this community is doing. That's awesome. How do I do that? And when we have those kinds of conversations, then this district or this county or this city will start doing it, then this state will start doing it, and then before you know it, every state's going to be rocking and rolling. We're all going to be on the same page, and we don't need the federal government. We can abolish the Department of Education, which would be awesome because that's what we're supposed to do in the first place because it's not supposed to be there. So the whole Common Core thing with setting standards, that's supposed to be standards set by the state. And if the state is doing well because of the standards it put in place, other states are going to want to do it. You know, the whole monkey see, monkey do thing. Hey, what are they doing over there? What's going on over here? And then we start going that way, and we start doing it. And then when we find something that doesn't work, we're like, oops, we made that mistake. Not going to try it again. But we can abolish the Department of Education. Trump's talked about it. He wants to do it. Whether it's feasible or not, that's another question, but we'd like to see it actually happen, and then we could set our own standards, we could set our own test scores, we could set our own qualifications. It'd be fantastic. It would work really well, and then the local communities, the school board at the local level could maybe hire more teachers or give them pay raises and not hire more superintendents or deputy superintendents or give, pay raises to, 6% increases on their salaries with only 2% going to the teachers. Right? Because that's what we've seen lately because of, things that have happened. So this is where we get to have a say. Got some calls on the line. Don't go anywhere. Open lines too as we wrap up the show today on a Monday for the last half hour. Stay here.
Only darkness every day.
Here's the latest from the KQAM News Center.
It's getting harder for me to want to make a deal with Iran.
President Trump says the dispute with Iran could go either way.
They behave very badly. They're saying bad things. And I'll tell you, it could go either way.
Trump today denied Iran's claim to have busted a spy ring working for the U.S. California Attorney General Javier Becerra is pleased with the $600 million settlement with Equifax over its hack 2 years ago that exposed the private data of 150 million people.
Americans have a right to have confidence that their personal, confidential information will be protected by those who compel us to release it to them.
New York's become the first state to ban declawing cats. Veterinarians say the once common operation is unnecessary and even cruel and involves slicing through bone to amputate the first segment of a cat's toes. On Wall Street, the Dow up just a point. I'm Mike Moss.
Plants capture CO2. What if we could help industrial plants capture it too? Think how we could help lower emissions. More and more scientists think carbon capture is key to reducing CO2 emissions globally. It's one way ExxonMobil is helping industrial plants be more like plants. That's the unexpected energy of ExxonMobil.
At Principal, we get it. You have big plans for your money, but sometimes life has something else in mind. There are twists and turns you never see coming. Twists like job transfers, and turns like new family members. Life doesn't always go according to plan. We can help you plan for that. Principal, investments, retirement, insurance.
Principal National Life and Principal Life Insurance Companies, Principal Global Investors, Principal Securities, Inc. Member SIPC, member companies of Principal Des Moines, Iowa. On his
Mid-America Network News. A Northeast Kansas man has been charged with first-degree murder and the rape of a woman. The Kansas City Star reports that 28-year-old Felipe Chavez Jr. of Shawnee was charged Saturday in the death of 30-year-old Lucia Frere of Kansas City. Shawnee police say the charges stem from a July 13th suspected domestic battery incident. The woman passed away from her injuries 3 days later. Police say her death is Shawnee's first homicide of the year. An 18-year-old man is accused of impersonating a law enforcement officer by using emergency lights on his vehicle to stop another driver in Dodge City. Deputies responded to the report of a suspicious vehicle that had pulled a car over. The vehicle was located near the Ford-Gray County line on Highway 50. Deputies pulled the car over and arrested the man for false impersonation of a law enforcement officer. I'm Stephanie Austin.
Mr. Davis, is bourbon really just a cool weather drink?
We at Davis Liquor know that bourbon is popular year-round. And right now at Davis Liquor Outlet, Maker's Mark 1.75 liters are just $46.99 and 750 mLs $25.99.
Davis Liquor Outlet, each store independently owned and operated, excludes 31st and Meridian.
Hello, my name is Mark Eatson, and I'm running for mayor of Wichita. I'm a Marine Corps veteran, the owner of Gietzen Aerial Services, the president of the Kansas Republican Assembly, and the chairman of the Kansas Coalition for Life. I love Wichita, and I love life. I believe that all human beings should be equally protected by law. Since abortion is an act of violence against a defenseless individual, I want to make Wichita a sanctuary city for the unborn. While our right to life is fundamental, one's quality of life is also important. I would like to make Wichita's water the cleanest in the nation. When we turn our water faucet on, we want water to come out, not soup. And certainly not a soup that contains a known developmental neurotoxin and an unnatural form of chlorine that irritates sensitive skin. Help make our great city even greater. Vote Mark Eatson for mayor of Wichita on August 6th.
Hi, this is Brian Davis.
It most certainly is. And this is Blake Davis with some cool beer specials for this hot summer. All Coors, Miller Lite, and Bud Family 24-pack 12-ounce cans, just $16.99.
Each Davis Liquor Outlet is independently owned and operated. Excludes 31st and Meridian.
Here's your latest forecast on the Big Talker KQAM. Sunny skies this afternoon, high today of 83, gusty winds up to 26 miles per hour. Mostly clear tonight, more gusty winds at 21 miles per hour, overnight low of 61. Sunny tomorrow, high near 82. Wednesday, sunny with a high near 84. I'm Rich Summers, and that's your latest forecast on Wichita's big station, the Big Talker AM 1480 and 102.5 FM KQAM.
At 1:35, it's currently 85 degrees.
Join the KQAM news team every day with Rick and Stephanie only on the Big Talker, 1480 AM and 102.5 FM KQAM. When a headline just isn't enough,
Is that all you got?
it's time to wake up the right way.
All right.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier on the Big Talker, 1480 AM and 102.5 FM KQAM.
Hey, welcome into it. 35 minutes past the hour right here on the Big Talker, KQAM. Dave Ramsey coming up in just about a half hour from now. But until then, you get moi, which thanks for hanging out with us. 316-721-8255, 316-721-TALK on the Shocker Pools hotlines. I'd love to hear from you today. This half hour of the broadcast is brought to you by Wildwood Cellars. It's more than just buying that bottle of wine, but you can learn about the tips and tricks for you to find the wine that you like, not the wine you're supposed to like, whether you like the dries, the sweets, the meads, the jalapeno, peach, strawberry, the chocolate, doesn't really matter. Tons of different flavors, tons of different varieties. They're all over liquor stores here in the area, along with their two locations. Main location right off the Turnpike in Mulvane, also here in Wichita at Maple and Ridge. Online at wildwoodsellers.com. Again, wildwoodsellers.com. We love their partnering up with us here on The Voice of Reason because I absolutely love their product. They're fantastic, and we appreciate that very much. Open lines to you, so let's jump right to it here. Shall we? Line number one. Good afternoon. Who's this?
Hey, Hoosier, what's up?
What's going on, sir? How we doing?
Oh, we're doing wonderful, but I don't appreciate you last Wednesday suppressing my First Amendment right.
Suppressing your First Amendment right, okay? How did I do that?
By editing what I say with your foot pedal to turn me off, and afterwards on YouTube.
Well, I didn't silence you on YouTube. I mean, YouTube just broadcasts whatever we do on the air, but the floor is yours, so you can talk about, I don't silence you. You can talk about whatever you'd like to.
Without interruption?
I mean, I may ask a question, but you have the floor. Go for it. What's on your mind?
Maybe tomorrow, okay, bud?
Okay. All right. Well, you can call tomorrow, and then you can talk then. So, fantastic. There we go. The platform is yours. I gave the platform. I don't know how I silenced him, but look, I don't think there's any. To come to think of it, the callers that we have, even that disagree, and like caller Lee that calls in quite a bit, when he calls in and we go round and round, I love it. I love debating. I love the discussion. So if you disagree with me, as you know, I'm the most friendliest political talk show host on the radio that you could possibly get, that will listen to you. Even if I completely disagree with you, I'll ask you questions to maybe verify what you're saying or to expand upon something, but I will not silence you at all. I will not hang up on you at all. I want to, make sure that you know how to defend your case, but I love the discussion. So how I silence someone, I don't know. So, hey, you're more than welcome to do so. 316-721-8255. Speaking of, again, and appreciate Trish Heilman coming on the show, the local candidates are really important. It's really kind of a big thing. We're going to have more candidates coming on for that seat itself, for the at-large position for the Wichita School Board. Trish Heilman is running. As we mentioned, Cheryl Logan is the incumbent and currently the president of the school board. She is the incumbent. She'll be joining, I want to say, next week. We haven't locked down a date or time yet, but she's looking at next week. We'll get her on the program and chat with her. There are 3 other candidates. There's 4 total, and that's Cheryl Logan, the incumbent, Trish Heilman that we just talked with, Joseph Shepard, which, if you remember, he is the former president of the student body government at Wichita State University. Now, here's the thing. We're going to invite him. I have not reached out to him yet. We will reach out. We will get him on the program. But I don't know if he'll do it or not. I hope he does. But when we did reach out to him to talk about the student body government, we invited him. He said he would come on about 2 or 3 times, and then he ended up not coming on. And just no call, no show. So I hope we can get him on the program. We'll reach out. And then Brent Davis. I don't know Brent Davis, but we'll reach out to him as well and try and get him on. We haven't done this in a while because there has been a lot of changes lately. But going into it, and now that we are officially like 2 weeks away from the primary election, it is kind of important. So I want to run down the list of all the candidates for the mayor, for the city council, and for the school board, so that way you're aware of it. And we're getting as many of them as we possibly can. We're inviting all of them, and then whichever ones decide to actually come on the program, then we'll talk to. But for the mayor, there are 9 candidates, which is a crazy long list. And the primary is so important because only 2 of them advance into the general election. But 9 candidates, which means you have a heck of a plethora of opportunity to talk to them, ask questions, and choose which candidate that you actually want. Mayor Jeff Longwell, obviously running for re-election, and he should be on the show maybe Thursday or Friday this week once he gets confirmed. But he'll be joining us, and he is running for re-election. Brandon Whipple, former Democrat legislator, state representative, and running for mayor as well. Lindy Wells, Amy Lyon, Mark Geetson. Mark Geetson, I believe, is coming on the show on Wednesday, I want to say this week. Brock Booker, he'll be coming on the show as well. Ian DeMori, Marty Mork, and Joshua Atkinson, if I can say that right. All 9 of them are running. That's a crazy list. That's a wild list there. And all of them have their own ideas what they want to do, so we'll talk with them. Again, we're going to be doing, not only on the air here, doing a one-on-one interview, but also doing our mayoral forum, our candidate forum, coming up Monday next week, and we'll have some more information on that here in just a little bit. But all 9 candidates hopefully will be there, and then we'll get all 9 of them hopefully on the program to chat about the election. Coming up for the Wichita City Council, there are 3 districts that are open for an election this year. There are, I want to say, 2 of them that have a primary. 3 of them. Now, 2 of them have a primary. District number 2, Becky Tuttle. She is the one that filled in when the member moved up from the city council up to the county commission, and she's taken over that. Becky Tuttle, she is the current incumbent. She is running along with the two challengers, Joseph Scapa and Rodney Wren. Rodney will be coming on the show on Wednesday as well. Joseph has not responded to us, but I did reach out to him. I did reach out to Becky Tuttle as well, and hopefully we'll get both of those on the show. District number 4, Jeff Blubaugh, current incumbent, running for re-election. Christopher Parisho and Becky Janek are running for that seat as well against him. If you remember, the only reason I remember this, Becky is the one that refuses to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance during the city council meetings. But she will be joining the race, and hopefully, I don't know if we'll get her on the show or not, but we'll sure try. District number 5, there will be no primary in this district, but there will be a general election as Brian Fry, candidate that comes on every week. He hasn't been in a while after the time change because it's been difficult, but he will be running for re-election as the incumbent, and then Mike Magnus will be running against him in that district. So the 3 Wichita City Council districts having candidates on those, the 9 mayor candidates, and then we have really 3, but Ernstine, really, she is unopposed on that one, so there's not going to be an election there. But really 2 districts, one of them for the school board that is actually going to have a primary in this one at the at-large that we just talked with Trish Heilman about, Cheryl Long, Joseph Shepard, and Brent Davis. All of them going to be in that one. That will have a primary. The other districts will not. It will be a general election. Doesn't matter. Show up to the elections. Show up to the elections. Make sure to go out and vote. This is important stuff. You want to talk about how local elections can actually affect you. That's the way to do it. Outside of the Wichita area, there are other elections, obviously, as well. We don't have time to get to all of those different elections in all the small little towns around Sedgwick County and South Central Kansas. However, I did get an email, and I do really, really appreciate the emails and the updates on these, so I can try and release them and talk about them as much as we possibly can. But in Bel Air City Hall, they will be doing a public forum as well for the city council members as well, and that's going to be coming up on this Friday, the 26th, from 7 to 9 at the community room at 7651 East Central Park Avenue in Bel Air. So if you're in that area, then you're welcome to show up to that one as well and talk about some of the public forums going on and talking about some of the primary candidates up in the Bel Air area. So we thank you for that, by the way. Because, again, I don't get a chance to talk to everybody. I want to talk to as much as we can, but if there's information, if there's different events going on in different communities, Hayesville, Bel Air, Park City, Cheney, Garden Plain, whatever, then let me know. Shoot the information out to us. Even if we can't talk to all the candidates, we can at least release the information and let people know that are listening in those areas. So we do appreciate that very, very much. All right, 316-721-8255. Let's take a quick break, an early break. When we come back, there is a story about an economic crash and how we can stop it. Here's the thing. Are we really going to stop it? And with all the predictions now that next year there's going to be some kind of economic crash, is that going to affect the election next year for the big election with President Donald Trump and with all the national stuff? And will Donald Trump have a say when it comes, or will he be affected by a popular vote in the nation next year? I want to talk about some of this, get your thoughts on it. But our economy right now is doing well. The stock market hitting records, obviously. Unemployment, record lows. The GDP doing 3-4% gains. We're doing very well there. But we're spending more money than what we're bringing in, which means we have an issue. Also, according to this, now it's a blog. Take it for granted. Take it with a grain of salt as you will. But according to this, with household debt that's affecting this as well, is higher than what it normally is. But is that really something that we can actually affect at the national level or the local level? Can we do bailouts? Or should we, take examples of Dave Ramsey that comes on in 20 minutes here on KQAM? I don't know, just throwing the idea out there, because if you have household debt, you're not going to spend as much. And just like we're seeing in Kansas right now, where we may have had an ending balance and we may have seen a surplus with the state budget for the overall year, fiscal year, we actually saw an 8% decrease in sales tax revenue, which means people are spending, there was a number here, close to $91 million less when it came to purchasing goods in the state. That hurts the economy. That hurts small business. That's because people can't afford to buy those things. They're in debt. Now, you could go one of two ways with that. You could teach them how to not be in debt and pay off the debts, or you could do the Bernie Sanders style, let's give away everything for free, bail them out, take in the debt as a nation, and then we just pay higher tax to pay that off. that's a crazy idea. That's really dumb. But, some people actually want to go for that. So, kudos to you and all the power to you. If that's what you choose, you can pay an 80% tax rate. I personally don't want to have 80% of my income actually be taken away. So household debt is a major issue, but also there's the manufacturing recession that's going on. Despite, according to this blog, despite President Trump's promises of a manufacturing renaissance, the country's now manufacturing recession is taking place. The Federal Reserve has just reported that the manufacturing sector has a second straight quarter of decline, falling below Wall Street's expectations. And for the first time ever, the average hourly wage for manufacturing workers has dropped below the national average. How do we get that back up? Maybe that has to do with, trade. Just throwing it out there. The trade deals, the price of raw goods, the tariffs that we're putting on things. Maybe that has to do with that. Not that the economy's tanking, and not that there's really, I wouldn't call it a manufacturing recession, but I would say there is maybe a little bit of a hurt, and the way you fix that is to get rid of the tariffs, which we are working on when we get better trade deals. Maybe we could focus on, not Trump being involved with Russia, but maybe have the House of Representatives pass the USMCA for a trade deal with Mexico and Canada, and maybe we could get manufacturing back on track. Maybe we could lower the price of those goods that they are manufacturing. Then maybe people would want to buy them, and voila, look at that. We just solved the inflation rate, we just solved the manufacturing issue, and we just solved the personal debt issue all in one swoop. Look at that. It's not rocket science. Democrats seem to think it is, though, which is wild because, different thinking wavelengths. It's all right. We'll talk about that later. Got to take a break. This is The Voice of Reason. Stay here.
You're listening to The Voice of Reason with Andy Hoosier.
Higher in the livestock, lower in the grains. That's the way we're wrapping up Monday. Let's check the ag futures markets. Brett Krotz at Schwieterman Incorporated has the information. Good afternoon, Brett.
Good afternoon. Well, we ended up seeing pretty solid gains in a number of the livestock contracts. August live cattle up 85 at 108.45. October up 65 at 109.15. In the feeder cattle, August up 220 at 142.17. October up 262 at 142.65. In the hog market, the October contract up 27 at 79.20. December up 27 at 77.02. Over in the grain markets, kind of a rough day there. September Kansas City wheat down 10 3/4 at 429 1/4. December down 11 1/4 at 448 1/2. In Chicago, the September wheat down 15 1/4 at 487 1/4. December down 14 1/2 at 499. September corn down 8 1/2 at 422 1/4. December down 9 at 426 3/4. September soybeans down 13 1/4 at 894. November down 13 1/2 at 905 3/4. And then December oats down 5 1/4 at 267. The December cotton up 29 points at 63.36. August crude oil up 59 cents at 56.22. August natural gas up a nickel at 230 1/2. August gold up $2 at 1428.70. December silver up 23 cents at 16.54. We've got the September dollar index up 9 points at 96.90, and the September Dow Jones futures up 18 points at 27,148. And for information on these and the other markets, please call us at Schwieterman Incorporated, 1-800-272-9131.
When you miss the morning news with John Wright.
Several hundred people were helped over the weekend at the Convoy of Hope event. A deadly motorcycle crash happened late Sunday night on the city's south side, and Wichita police are investigating the shooting of a 43-year-old man who's left in serious condition at a local hospital.
Your morning news with John Wright, 6 to 8 on the Big Talker, 1480 AM and 102.5 FM, KQAM.
One thing you don't want associated with your harvest this go-around is downtime. MJ's Truck Repair at exit 46 off I-135 in Moundridge can take care of all your harvest-related equipment. Combines, tractors, grain trucks and carts, all the machinery associated with your successful harvest this year. MJ's Truck Repair of Moundridge has on-the-farm emergency service. Roll your harvest downtime-free with MJ's Truck Repair of Moundridge. 800-835-0069.
Just because it might be a slow time of year for sports, it doesn't mean it's a slow time of year for all the fun at Champs Bar and Grill on South Seneca. Hey, it's Doug Downs from the Game Plan, and when I want to kick back, watch some sports on TV, enjoy some delicious food like a cheeseburger, pizza, quesadillas, I find myself at Champs Bar and Grill. Don't forget also, happy hour takes place every Monday through Friday from 4 to 7. And if you're like me and love to be outside, then Champs has it covered with an outdoor patio area complete with horseshoe pits, fire pit, picnic tables. There's always something going on at Champs Bar and Grill. Find them online at Champs ICT.
Hurry into the Ford Hurry Up and Save sales event and get 20% estimated savings on select Ford SUVs. Plus, earn complimentary maintenance through Ford Pass Rewards. Modem must be activated within 60 days of purchase through the Ford Pass app on a smartphone and remain active for at least 6 months after activation. Eligible on select 2019 model year vehicles. Vehicle must have arrived at dealer at least 61 days prior to the sale date. Estimated savings include an average dealer discount based on a sales survey of average discounts offered by Ford dealers nationally. Discount may vary. Dealer determines price. For all offers, take new retail delivery from an authorized Ford dealer stock by 9/3/19. See participating dealer for complete details.
Wichita's Morning Newsman. Your latest news with Rick is on the Big Talker, KQAM.
So I absolutely love this blog. This is hilarious. And not love in the sense that I agree with it, in the sense that they're just loony and nuts. I mean, they are talking about a recession. Is it going to happen? Whatever. It's easy to fix a lot of the problems they've talked about, but stopping the next downturn for the economy is, according to this, there are good things that we can do to head off this crisis. Number one, reduce household debt. Now get this, to put our economy and our families on a firmer ground, it's essential to reduce household debt by both raising people's wages and bringing down their costs. Okay. That is at heart of my economic agenda. We can raise income by increasing minimum wage to $15 an hour, strengthening unions, ensuring that women of color get the wages they deserve. I guess just women's just not good enough. I got to do women of color here because that totally makes a difference. And empowering workers to elect at least 40% of board members and big American corporations. We can reduce the costs and slash household debt by canceling up to $50,000 in student loan debt for 95% of people who have it, bringing down the cost of rent, providing universal affordable child care and early education to all our kids, age 5 and 0, and making tuition free at every public technical school, 2-year college and 4-year college. Wow, that's a lot. Okay, now we can go down that list, or we can just say that they fit directly into that whole Bernie Sanders thing right there. First off, if you want $15 an hour, don't go and campaign for Bernie Sanders. Just throwing it out there. Little PSA for you, little personal information. Don't go and work for Bernie Sanders because he will not pay you, or he will and he'll just give you a few hours. Because, hey, that's what every business would do because they have the money or don't have the money. But he's going to, don't worry, he's going to force the other businesses to do it, even though he doesn't want to do it himself. So that's great. It's strengthening unions. That's whatever. Strengthening unions. That's not going to help anything, so good luck with that one. Ensuring women of color get wages they deserve. Empowering workers to elect at least 40% of board members at big American corporations. And then reducing and slashing household debt by canceling up to $50,000 in student loan. And this is just an idea, throwing it out there, you just don't get in that debt in the first place. I made that mistake. I checked it. I've gone down from $85,000 to $78,000 in student loan debt, so I'm on the right track. I'm on the right track, baby. We are going to get this paid off. We're going to get this stuff done. But maybe you shouldn't get into that debt in the first place. Maybe you should work through college or not take out student loans or save up or actually get scholarships. Maybe you shouldn't just do that. Then we do need to bail it out. And if you bail it out, who's going to pay for it? You're still going to pay for it just through high taxpayer money. So now you can, when you get a job, you can pay 70% taxes instead of 10. Wouldn't that be nice? Oh, and then, of course, making tuition free for every public and technical school. Again, so now you're going to pay off student loans by subsidizing that and then paying it through tax. And then you're going to pay off and make it free for everybody else. So that's great. That's cute. Well done. 316-721-8255. This is the lunacy that we hear from because the government's going to solve everything for us, even though we are technically funding the government because that's our taxpayer money. So they want our money to pay for things to make it free for us because that works when we should just be able to do it ourselves. Number 2, monitor and reduce leverages on corporate lending, strengthening manufacturing, limit potential shocks to the economy. Well, let me tell you something. With Donald Trump in the office, I don't know what kind of shocks they're talking about, but shocks to the economy are kind of happening when he talks about things. For example, before he even became president, and he said he wanted to lower taxes, the economy shot right up. He wasn't even president yet. Well, Andy, that was Barack Obama. Yeah, That's not true. Not true at all. Andy, the economy was on the way up during Obama's time. That was based on artificial inflation, based on him bailing everybody out. When Donald Trump just said, I want to cut taxes, baby, we're going to cut taxes and let the economy grow, what happened? Manufacturing came back, and wages came back, and workers came back, and jobs came back, and everything came back. And then the economy started going up. The Wall Street started hitting record levels. Unemployment went down. It wasn't because of Barack Obama, but shocks of the economy, sometimes shocks are good. So you got to remember, and here's something that's misconstrued when it comes to the economy, is that what we call Reaganomics, what you do, you implement something in the economy, it takes like 3 or 4 years to implement. That's when you do it with the government. When you implement things with the government, like, for example, a bailout that Barack Obama had done, or George W. Bush had done before him as well. When they bail things out, when they inflate the economy, they print off money, they inject it into the system and say, we're not going to allow the economy to struggle. We're not going to actually have this recession. We're going to bail it out. We're going to save it by injecting money in where it needs to go because they've been hurting. That is an artificial growth where things grow slowly, but it's artificial because the government did it. At some point, that creates a bubble. It's the bubble, and it's going to pop. When you say we're going to lower taxes, we're going to lower spending, we're going to allow the private sector to grow, people you see the response of it right immediately because people sense that and say, cool, I'm going to have, now I don't have the more money yet, I'm going to have more money, therefore I feel optimistic about what's coming, and therefore I'm going to make decisions before I even get the response or the result from it. Right? That's what happens every time. Oh, great, we're going to cut taxes. I'm going to start spending because I know I'm going to get it reimbursed to me. I'm going to get that ROI, that return on investment back to me. So I'm going to start investing in my business again. I'm going to hire more people. I'm going to start spending more money because I know that I'm going to get it back with my tax cut. It's going to happen, baby. The economy responds. When it's hurting and you inject more money into it, you're like, gee, thanks. But it takes a while for it to grow. Takes a while for it to happen, and at some point the recession pops because when you inject too much in and you do that artificially through the government, not through the private sector, then it's a bust, and then we drop back down and we have to do natural growth again. It's like building a house. You have to have the foundation of concrete done, you have to have the structure without the corners, and you have to have the actual base beams actually built and put in place before you can start building the roof. If you build the roof beforehand and trying to put windows in there on the drywall, it's not going to be very sturdy. And you can try it because you're in a hurry and you want it to happen right now and you think that you're a master. But when it collapses and you try and do it again, we haven't learned our lesson yet, have we? That's the way that many progressives in government actually work. This is your show. It's time to speak up, speak out, speak loud, speak proud, speak the truth, and always speak some reason. This is The Voice of Reason. It's great to be back behind the microphone. It's been a lot of fun. Back at it tomorrow for a Tuesday. Until then, everybody enjoy your Monday afternoon.
Did you know that being a safe driver could save you money? Sign up for the new 4-hour AARP Smart Driver Classroom course offered here in Kansas. You'll learn safe driving strategies, and you could also save money on your auto insurance. Become a safer, more confident driver by signing up for a course today. Learn more at aarp.org/drive. That's aarp.org/drive. Restrictions may apply. Contact your agent for savings details.
Whatever your business, count on EMC Insurance because our business is protecting your business. EMC Insurance Companies has the knowledge and expertise to provide you with the right insurance coverage options. And when you insure your business with EMC, you receive the added value of our free loss control services, no matter the size of your company. Contact your local independent insurance agent and ask about insurance from EMC. In Heston, call Fuquay Insurance at 327-2388.
This is a Steckline Communication Station, K273CX, FM 102.5, and AM 1480 KQAM, Wichita Proud. It's time for your latest news from the KQAM News Center. Brought to you by Continental Truck Accessories, 6701 South Broadway. Show your truck some love with Continental Truck Accessories.
I'm Stephanie Austin. One man died and another is in critical condition after a late-night motorcycle accident in South Wichita. The accident happened around 10:40 last night on I-135 and K-15. The Kansas Highway Patrol says that two men were on a motorcycle when it struck a wall, throwing one of the men to K-15 below. The driver and the motorcycle then slid about a quarter of a mile. The passenger was pronounced dead at the scene. He has been identified as 45-year-old Christopher Monk of Wichita. The driver, a 29-year-old man from Wichita, suffered critical injuries. 500 electric scooters are now available to rent in downtown Wichita. Here are a few things you should know before you operate an e-scooter. In order to rent one, you will need to download the Spin app. It will cost $1 to start the ride and then 15 cents a minute after that. You must be 18 years old to ride. Scooters operate from dawn to dusk, and you cannot ride them on the sidewalks. It's time to see what's going on in sports. Here's Doug Downs.
The Kansas City Chiefs start training camp tomorrow. Patrick Mahomes, before he heads to St. Joe, was asked about the return of Tyreek Hill.
It'd be awesome to welcome him back and bring him back and with the guys and get to work. And training camp's coming up here soon, so we're excited to be back on the field.
The Chiefs will be in St. Joe, Missouri again for training camp this year. Fan Day will be this weekend. The Royals lost last night to the Cleveland Indians. They only won 1 out of 3. They're off tonight. We're heading to Atlanta